obviously, this is a new show. We introduced it to you guys last week. We talked about the fact that, we're transitioning to this new sport. We want to do the best we can to get better over time, to put out substantive content that's entertaining, and do what we can to produce the highest quality content. We went exactly 1 week before getting to clickbait. Today, we're going to do quarterback discourse. We're going to get to the lowest of the lows, the engagement bait. We're going to put every single NFL QB into a tier list today.
It's the offseason. You know what we do.
Do you know what we do? We want those views, and we want you to give them to us. So we're going to talk about how every single QB in the league ranks against each other. We're going to divide it into tiers to kind of try to get an understanding of the entire landscape of the position. Should be a good one.
I love it.
I'm in the mud of the mud right now, and I'm super interested to see where you guys rank a lot of the middle of the pack quarterbacks, and where like the real interesting conversation is to me is where the B and C tier lie.
Yeah. The top and the bottom are pretty easy. The middle there's a lot. This is a very good year for quarterback play, I think, assuming guys stay healthy. And this is going to be a mix of gauging where they are right now while also accounting for trajectory with young guys, especially. So there will be some projecting because the season is coming up. It's not like this is the beginning of the offseason. So we'll project a little bit, but we'll try to do pretty much who they are right now, barring the guys in like year 2. Will be a very interesting conversation.
You'll find out my favorites.
Yeah.
Toxicity. Let it begin.
With that being said, if you're watching on YouTube, do us a favor, like and subscribe. Subscribe to the new show. Help us get those numbers up. Yeah, man. Cue the intro music. Before we get to the main topic of this episode, we have a couple of segments to get to. First, we're going to debut a new recurring segment. We told you guys episode 1. This show is going to be in large part about Mo learning the NFL with us, with you guys. You're going to see the entire journey of him becoming an NFL fan and train that IQ. We're going to have a segment called Mo Knows, where he tells us something that he learned this week. Mo, what is the first takeaway?
What do you know this week?
Yeah, what do you know?
Brother, so after our first episode, we got a lot of good feedback. And of course, as open as I am, there's so much knowledge that I need to garner.
Yeah.
I think the hardest part about NFL discourse for me was defense specifically, because there's just so many layers and there's not much conversation that can be had about projecting or ranking or anything like that. It all starts with your defense pretty much.
Yeah, you tell me you didn't walk into the NFL knowing about cover 3 match principles?
Exactly. Basically, bro. I'm in the mud.
Yeah.
The first defensive coverage that I learned just a couple of days ago was simulated pressure, bro. When I saw that, I saw a couple plays of it. My mind was boggled. So basically, what I learned was simulated pressure is when the defense presents and shows the quarterback, I got hella rushers and I'm finna like come at you with a ton of pressure. And then right when the play, and then right when the play gets snapped, the defense quickly diverges back into playing drop coverage.
Yeah. And
it completely just like, it's an insane illusion. And when you see so many bodies, in my mind, it makes sense why like I see certain quarterbacks do all types of adjustments right before the snap happens. So I guess a question too that I have for you guys is who's the best at adjustments pre-snap in the league right now?
From like the defensive perspective?
Yeah.
Brian Flores is the poster boy what you're talking about. He is the defensive coordinator of the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah.
He was the head coach of the Dolphins, went poorly for, I don't know, managing locker room reasons. And he went back to being the defensive coordinator for a team. And he is that guy when it comes to simulated pressure, to creative front 7 usage. He does it a lot with the defensive ends where he'll have that simulated pressure. He'll drop his edge rushers into coverage, which is confusing. And it gives quarterbacks the biggest issues, obviously, because especially young quarterbacks, you go against his defense, you're going to have a fucking headache. I don't know. I got to look at the schedule this year, but there's going to be some quarterback that will get humbled by facing off against Brian Flores in his first few starts.
Yeah, you're gonna see him, and then the Seahawks as well. Like their head coach, Michael McDonald, he was the defensive coordinator in Baltimore. I guess not last year, but the year before last year. And so those are like the two guys where like the sim pressures, like that's their bag. That's what they do.
All right. So on the other flip of the coin, who are the best like quarterbacks when it comes to actually reading defenses?
Joe Burrow. That's Joe Burrow's thing. We'll get to that in the tier list.
Yeah.
The top 3 quarterbacks are the mobile guys, the guys who make crazy improv plays with their legs. Mahomes, Allen, Lamar. They win MVPs for these reasons. They're like every space in the court they attack. Joe Burrow is not that. He's kind of like the remaining quarterback from a bygone era where his superpower is diagnosing plays at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
He's the best by far at handling that stuff and figuring out where to attack in the quick game.
That's crazy. All right. I'm adding that. Narratives will be driven.
Yeah, Joe Burrow is the guy for that. And as Mo knows.
This guy's knowing.
I
like it. Things. I like it.
Mo knowledge as day goes on.
Right. And now, before we get to the tier list, we're going to do an icebreaker. You guys know this. Previously on the other show on T3, we do TikTok time, where at the end of the show, we do a slew of segments. Trying something new with this show. Let us know what you think about this flow when you get to the end of it. We're going to mix in the TikTok time segments in the whole show. So before we get to the main topic, we are going to talk about NFL haircuts. Specifically, we are going to rate/grade. We'll grade them. The craziest NFL haircuts that Mo found. Tell us about these.
Okay, so I'm not gonna lie. When I was going into this wormhole, I was so fucking shocked. I learned there was a new culture. I was introduced to it in the NFL when it comes to rookies getting their haircut in a specific way. I don't know if it's still going on today, but back in the day, I saw the craziest shit. And just in general, obviously, like a lot of players they're off the rockers a little bit. They're gonna do a lot of experimentation. I want you guys to grade these haircuts that I pulled up right here.
Okay,
I think you got like 8 or 10 of them. So
let's get into it.
First one up, we got Bijan Robinson.
This one pains me so much.
You don't like it?
It's so nasty. It's so nasty.
I'm not gonna lie. It's not even like a fade on the side. The complete baldy on the sides is crazy.
Come on, man. Like, I want Bijan to be, and low-key, he is like one of my favorite running backs in the league, right? Went to Texas, all that stuff. And then you see this and you're like, come on, man. Like,
I don't think it's terrible. I'll give it a solid C+, B-. I don't think it's horrible.
This is a sky top from hell.
I also cannot call it horrible.
Maybe you can. It's pitiful. It's pitiful. You need to have better people around you to tell you not to do this. I don't. F.
It doesn't look. I feel like we're going to see a lot more outrageous to give this F right away.
D.
All right, fair enough.
Okay.
Showed a little bit tact, but you still don't like it overall.
This is not good.
I don't hate it, but I do wish there was a fade in between and not just straight baldy.
Brother, tap in with Sly Huncho, please. Please.
Okay.
Okay, next up we got Antonio Garay.
Damn. Classic.
What is this?
And Chargers.
Yeah.
This is, I don't know. It probably means something, so I'm going to choose my words carefully. It looks like it means something, like it's some kind of flag or some kind of like cultural symbolism here, it looks like.
You know what that means?
Salute. It probably means something. I like the colors. Yeah. It looks cool. There is worse. I would rather you do something colorful if you're going to be crazy with it. This has some character. I'll give it a B+.
And you know what? It's fine because nobody's ever going to see this. You got your helmet on.
Yeah. It doesn't stick out.
It's okay. You do this on your personal time. I like that.
It's honestly not bad though. I kind of like it. It looks cool.
No, honestly, yeah.
It's not bad.
I mess with a heavy when this is one of the best ones that I've seen when it comes to mine because the creativity, also the barber here, ridiculously
line work,
talented.
Nuts.
Exactly, bro. It's ridiculous. You know how hard it is to get those angles and then use how many different colors of dyes did he use on his head too, bro?
4.
God, at least damn, bro.
You know how much you got to get this maintained to keep those sharp edges?
That's 5 colors.
It's like a
5
haircut
colors
every 4 days.
I wasn't counting the black in the middle, but yeah, I guess that is another color. Is that like a purplish?
Yeah, I think it's
I'm a big fan of colors in hair in general. Yeah. And when it works, I think it works well. So I'll give this a B+.
The commitment deserves an A. Next, we got James Conner.
I like this less.
Conner, this is hard if you ask me, man. I'm not going to lie.
Hard?
Creative. Now, he lost a bet. This is the reason why he did this cut. But
it's like a 4D chest shag.
Again.
4D.
If you have to get a haircut because you lost a bet, I can't say like, oh yeah, that's an A. This is a punishment, right?
You're not starting from a good place.
That's what I'm saying. This was supposed to be foolish.
But if you see this in person, you look at it and you're like,
and I'm doing a double take and I'm like, what the heck? What is going on? I'm not rocking with this.
You're not rocking with it? Normally a shag.
Why do you ask me like, oh yeah, everybody will rock with this? No, I'm not rocking with this.
I don't know. Normally a shag, I'm like,
yeah,
I can appreciate it on some people.
Yeah.
I don't think Heinrich Williams' shag looked that bad. But you add in the double hairline fade in between. I don't know what's going on.
I ain't gonna lie, James Conner, you cooked with this. The double hairline fade. Of course, it may be a little bit much, but you could always pull up into any hood and just like explain to anyone that this is just a cultural thing.
And they're gonna be like, don't give a fuck. You look crazy.
Nah, we're going deep.
The hairline is crispy. Are you giving him credit for that?
All right, C.
There you go.
Okay.
It is crispy.
Next, we got Tim Tebow.
Oh,
This is his rookie year.
is there anything below F that we can call this?
This is like in cartoons when somebody gets hit and they have like some crazy just like wart that just like pops up.
Pinhead wart comes up.
Yeah, it's like a Phineas and Ferb type of haircut.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous. I forgot that they did this.
Very Looney Tunes adjacent. Yeah, so I'm giving it an F. I don't even think amongst Fryer haircuts, I don't even think this is a good one. I think it's an F. The default is F. This is an F for Fs.
I feel like
It's
when I
F squared.
see Tim Tebow in this, he got to wear a cloak and got to have a wand. And he's about to like give you the most poisonous goddamn spell ever.
Yeah, he looks like he works at the Citadel in Game of Thrones. Don't like it.
Exactly.
Looks like he knows potions.
Never in my life. Never in my life could I do this.
You honestly, I don't think there's a number you could pay me to do this.
No.
Yeah.
Nope.
How many? I need to know.
800,000 cash.
I don't think I could do it.
Nah, I need to know also how
That's a
many
lot of money.
fights have been started in NFL locker rooms because they're trying to do some rookie hazing like this. It's like, oh yeah, we're gonna have to shave your head ball. It's like, I bet you would. I bet that's what you want to do.
Bro, honestly, this is one of the better rookie hazing moments because genuinely, like, you can see how this could look like it's a part of someone's culture. And
What culture?
there's millions of cultures out there. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I could lie to you though,
All right,
right now.
I made a mistake
You are
opening.
lying.
I made a mistake opening this door about appreciating the cultural significance.
That's what I'm
of haircuts.
saying.
I
You
made a
did.
mistake. Fuck this shit. This is horrible. We're done being
Okay,
sensitive.
this is F by all accounts. Von Miller,
You see triangle culture. You gotta appreciate it. Yeah.
Illuminati culture.
I don't even. What the fuck is this? I don't even know what to say.
He's just bored.
Facts.
Experimenting.
Just bored. Yeah, this is like when you know that the hair on the top of your head is not going to be as dark and thick as you would like. You're like, I have to switch
I
it
gotta
up.
get creative.
I got to do something to let them know I'm still out here. I'm still going to the barbershop frequently.
I'm not gonna lie. That is his exact mentality.
That's a good PR spin, honestly.
Yes.
You're like, listen, the what do you call it? The corners? They're going back. I'm gonna just do something crazy, and people aren't gonna think about it. They're gonna assume I did it by choice.
Exactly.
He might be giving
Von
me
Miller, you are a
ideas.
smart guy. You are PR trained.
I fuck with it.
I'll give you an A+ for that. I respect it. I respect ducking allegations.
That's forward thinking.
I agree. Antonio Brown.
Actually, not. It's wild, but it's not bad.
Depending on what area you put him in,
Doesn't it look weird seeing Antonio Brown look like normal?
it does.
I'm like, damn, look at his eyes. Look healthy. This is crazy.
This being a normal picture.
Yeah,
is like,
exactly. That says a lot.
Yo, the bar is so low.
If this was like taken in the 90s, you'd be like, oh shit, like this brother is fly.
That I could definitely see this in the 90s. I
This
wouldn't think
brother
it's
is
easy.
fly.
You old
Exactly.
fuck. Yeah, shout out the
He said, nah, he's
Tetris.
fly. Word is Bond, man. Word is Bond. He's fly.
90s is too early, bro.
Word
This
is
gotta be
bond.
80s. This gotta be 80s.
Word is
Word is
bond.
bond.
I'll give this a C. Nice Tetris Minecraft haircut. I've seen worse from Antonio Brown, so I don't think this is too bad.
Okay.
I'll go B.
There
I
you
guess,
go.
I guess it's a B too. Pat McQuiston. Ooh, man.
So
Let's-
this is like I'm being trolled. I don't know how to approach this with any source of sincerity.
This looks like some of the hair swaps that we have done. Where we just add hair. Because you can clear, like if you like just stare at it long enough, you can see where his head separates from the hair.
Yeah.
So it looks like, yeah, we just added this hair onto the back.
This is an offensive lineman, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It makes sense. These big white boys that aren't all about like their appearances, love fucking with doing some
Yeah.
crazy shit. They're just like, look at this. Like, I don't know the background, but it makes sense to me in that way. A for audacity.
The O-line room probably went crazy.
Yeah, they probably loved this. He's probably the life of the
Man.
party in locker room
Yeah,
that
bro.
week.
Look how long and luscious his hair, I guess, isn't anymore, but was in the back.
This probably did a lot for team morale.
100%.
I'll give it an A. He took one for the team. I bet.
They
Like
they probably practiced, shotgun some beers afterwards.
Yeah.
It was a fun time.
It was a great time.
Bro, they don't miscommunicate at all at that line, ever.
And I'm all about teamwork. Listen, the offensive line is the heart and soul of the team. You need them to be together, defending as one unit. And I'm sure he helped his team this day. He
Good
made
job.
his team 1% better this day.
Good job.
I give this an F, though, because it looks like when he opens his mouth, he's going to have 5 tongues come out. F.
Like he's the creature from It.
Exactly. Cam Newton. You got
So
the
this is
free
very,
forms going.
Very emblematic of the era when the freeforms were going crazy. The Florida look.
This was
It's not bad for that look. I don't know if you should like it to this day, but for that time, it's not bad.
At the time, we didn't see a lot of NFL players go free form. It's becoming a little bit more popular now.
Alfred Payton vibes.
That was also nasty.
His is all time
that was
worse.
His was bad because again it impeded his ability to work.
Yeah.
The hair literally went over his eyes.
You think he was a 64% free throw shooter for a reason? I agree with you.
Cam can fit in the helmet though, so I don't think it's too bad.
It's fine. Cam gets a lot of passes where everyone is always gonna say, "Yeah, that's crazy," but somehow it still kind of works because Cam Newton's doing it. I'll give him a B.
Okay, B.
Yeah,
Is. I'm fine with that.
you see normal people like this all the time. I agree with
Yeah,
you.
it's not terrible at all.
Tyrann Mathieu.
Is this like he woke up at a sleepover and they fuck with him and they shave half his face off?
Again, rookie year ideals.
The eyebrow is nuts. This is like mean. I feel bad for him in this picture.
Damn, no face.
I don't even want to give him an F because I feel like he's a victim.
He looks like he just got abused in this photo too.
Yeah, and the angle of the flash looks like the prison photo. It looks like he's down horrendous.
I actually forgot that he got a haircut, and I just thought that he got beat up.
The white beater.
I thought they just laid hands on him.
It's all tore up.
Like his face is drug on the road, eyebrow got ripped off.
Yeah,
This is mean.
Yeah,
I don't like this.
I'm gonna give you an A+, Tyron. Just because I feel bad.
I had to go to the darkest depths of the internet to find this, bro.
I know I feel bad because this is gonna be on TikTok and maybe somebody will send it to you. I hope you don't see this. I hope I don't bring up bad memories.
This is awful. Shaving one eyebrow is ridiculous.
What is one? That's crazy.
If you had to do that for rookie duties, would you draw your eyebrow back in? Or
Drawing it back will look even worse.
I put a sticker. Put a band over it.
Yeah, bro. You might get a pass to wear a do-rag just so you can hide your eyebrows.
I'll get a pass to wear a do-rag.
Or just wear a couple headbands at once. The last one, we got George Kittle.
This is mad regular. What do you mean?
The long hair
This is
with
luscious.
the beard.
Not regular.
It's a look, a Viking look. I think this is like elite white boy swag. I think they fuck with George Kittle's swag.
The aura is outrageous. This is not regular. What are you talking about? Nothing about this is regular. The cut is so fine-tuned and specific to the sides.
No split ends.
No split ends, not on one. He's conditioned. He is luscious.
He is on his hair routine, conditioning continuously.
Good
A+.
job. Yeah, good job for George Kittle.
Good job, George Kittle. I hope you have a shampoo sponsorship. I feel like you probably do.
He deserves it.
Does he? I'm gonna look it up.
I bet he does. On some Troy Polamalu head and shoulder shit, I bet he does.
And that's it.
There we go, man. It's a great way to get the energy flowing. Start this episode. Now, 18 minutes in, it is time for the main event.
He doesn't.
He does.
No shampoo sponsorship.
How did you find that out? You typed in like all of his sponsorships?
I just typed in George Kittle shampoo and nothing immediately came up. So I'm gonna assume that he doesn't have a
Maybe
shampoo
it's a different
sponsor.
type of hair product though. It's not just shampoo.
Shampoo would have to be.
It would have to be shampoo?
It would have to be.
Couldn't it be like gel?
Nah.
Okay, never mind. No sponsorships for you. It is now time to get to this tier list. How we're going to do this is on the screen, you guys see these tiers. We have S tier, which we did our normal S through F, but I also added a little bit of description because I feel like, especially with quarterbacks, there's a lot of nuance required to have this conversation rather than what we normally do. So for S, I put legends, the people that I think we can signify as you are some of the best the game has ever seen in your position. Whatever number may be, top 20 quarterback of all time, whatever it is. These are guys that will define their era.
Okay.
A, I put elite/elevates teams. So these are guys that don't just execute the scheme. They truly make everybody around them better. They allow you to make up for some weaknesses in your roster. You know, they make it so you don't necessarily have to have the best weapons or the best line, whatever it may be. These guys will cover up for holes. B, top 10 caliber. So maybe there will be more than 10 guys at the end of this, but these are guys that any year you can argue can be a top 10 quarterback. So that's a good bar for B. C, you can win with them. So if you have a good scheme, you have a good supporting cast, you can win a Super Bowl with these guys. Maybe they're not elevating you, but they won't hold you back at all.
Okay.
D, unproven or unreliable. What it sounds like. We're not going to quite go F with them, but there's still question marks that can be wherever we take it with those questions.
Okay.
And then F tier, they actively hold you back. Then at the bottom, we put a tier for rookies that we just haven't seen yet. So who knows what they'll be.
All right.
Okay, that's fair. I like all these listings.
And I think let's start with the AFC teams. You want to go there first?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
What division would you like to start with?
Let's start out East.
AFC East. Okay. So off the bat, what do you want to do with Justin Fields?
I knew we were going to do this.
Actually, let's start somewhere a little higher than that. Let's start with let's lay the groundwork. Josh Allen is S tier. Josh Allen goes in legends. That one's clear.
Okay.
There's 3 top quarterbacks in the league. Do you want to order these within the tiers?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so obviously he's one right now, but that'll be the interesting part. But where do you view him in that top 3 quarterbacks?
He's probably 3.
Okay.
Because obviously Mahomes is going to be there. Lamar Jackson is going to be there. I'm giving the other two credit. Obviously, like Mahomes is Mahomes, but I think that Lamar has the edge because it really is like he just changes everything that you have to do defensively, and then I think that the floor offensively might be a little bit higher.
Yeah, especially with the run game stuff, with how the design runs, how he really forces you to play 8-man box because you are at least 7-man box because you have to account for him being able to pull at any moment in those run games. It's impossible to defend him and Derrick Henry as a running duo. And while Josh Allen is, the second most dangerous mobile quarterback in the league, I think there's a difference there that you add in the fact that Lamar has become so polished as a drop back passer. I'm not mad at that, but I think they're obviously both S tier.
Dude, over 4,000 passing yards last year, 41 touchdowns, and just 4 INTs.
That's the MVP right there.
That's
no, that's not the MVP.
Second, runner up.
I forgot.
Yeah, runner up.
Because all the voters wanted to flip flop and do all this weird mental gymnastics. But Lamar,
we'll get to Lamar.
But we're gonna get to our first real quick. The first hypothetical of the QB tier list, in that I do think, obviously, like Josh Allen, you saw him take that leap whenever the Bills went out and they got Stephon Diggs, and then you really saw a lot of that improvement. Lamar has done that without going out and getting like the number one receiver. And so if the Ravens had got that, a lot of things might have changed for that. But for Josh Allen specifically, it is like now that Diggs is gone, and even in his last year after they went and they changed the offense, and you made it very like a run heavy offense or more run focused. Mm-hmm. If you have Josh Allen on your team, you're going to have a top 5 offense. You're going to make it to the second round of the playoffs. You're going to have a chance to play in the AFC Championship. Like that's just there, right? Like he is as constant a player as you can be right now.
Constant is a great word to put it. In his first 7 seasons, I found out that he is the most winning quarterback out of everyone in the first 7 seasons. He's garnered 76 wins. Right after that is Russell Wilson, and then right after that is Patrick Mahomes. And those two guys, obviously, they're still playing today, and they have more of a complete career.
Rings.
Yeah, but Josh Allen deserves very much to be in that tier.
Yeah, he's the best quarterback in the league last year. Like, obviously, Mahomes still gets the title because he's Mahomes, and gets the Super Bowl every year. But for the regular season, Josh Allen was number 1 in the league last year. Obviously, it's a debate. Him, Lamar, and Mahomes are always close. Yeah. I don't feel bad thinking that Josh Allen last year is the best one-man army in the NFL. The way he's able to elevate good enough wide receivers that aren't excellent and still maintain high efficiency, attacking every element of the field. Obviously, everything he does with his legs. Ridiculous in-pocket maneuvering, being able to be creative in the pocket, outside the pocket, adjust your arm angles, be a runner, never get hurt despite taking a fucking beating.
Yeah.
I think all things considered, he's probably last year number 1. No. The Mahomes of it all is an interesting conversation we'll get to, but clear S tier, good way to start. What do you want to do with Tua Tagovailoa? Tagovailoa.
Tua, man.
Listen, man, he has to be in D. He's unreliable. I think like.
And is this health based or play based, or
both?
It's obviously both? What is it, mostly health based, or do you feel just as bad about the play?
No, I felt like that before a lot of the injury concerns really, really started to rear their head. And if everything, like I feel like Tua is on the extreme end of if everything is not perfect, I don't think you can win a Super Bowl with him. And
what's perfect to you? Like, you mean schematically wise, or just like straight up?
Like protection has to be good. You have to have the right amount of weapons. You have to have the right play caller. You have to have the right game script. Like everything has to be right for Tua in order for you to win at like the highest level. And there's games, especially over the last like 2-3 years, where it'll be a pretty big game, right? Sunday night game where it's the Dolphins and they're going up against some, like another contending team, another playoff team. And I go into those games and I have no faith whatsoever that the Dolphins are going to win that game. And I think a lot of that, part of it is obviously team construction and the fact that they are just like a soft team. Yeah. But
soft team, so funny.
They are.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, I get it.
But like I think that Tua is kind of a part of that, and that he's not elevating a lot of people the way that you would want them.
Yeah.
Want him
the
to.
only thing I'll say is that it's easy to say this now and to be super down on him now after last year was such a disaster. Yeah. And obviously he got hurt and the team went to shit after that. It showed like the value of him just being competent, how much they needed that when they did not have that after him. So I do think there is something that he can make them good enough He is accurate. He is accurate, at least.
Yeah, he
in the
leads the
short,
league in completion.
yeah, short and intermediate areas. A lot of the reason for his accuracy last year is because the lack of deep ball effectiveness, because all the teams ran too high against them in cover 2 and cover 4. Nuke that. They just dinked and dunked their way down low. Lots of drags to Jonnu Smith. Lots of screens to Devon A-Chain. That's really why he has a completion percentage so high. The main thing I want to give him some slack for is he had the lowest average time to throw of any starting QB in the league last year. That Dolphins O-line is a fucking abomination. So while I do think everything you said is right, he isn't. Last year was like the worst case scenario for him, where they don't have the deep ball options at all because teams are taking that away. Maybe part of that is because of him and not able to really threaten throws and force them to pay. But the biggest reason why teams were able to run those 2 high shells against them is because the O-line was so fucking horrible. They could not run the ball whatsoever and force teams to stack the box. So they just said, we're going to sell it on these deep wide receivers. You're gonna beat us with Jonnu Smith and Devon A-Chain, and you're not going to protect Tua. His time to throw is going to be really low. So I do think he got dealt a bad hand last year. But end of the day, you're right. He's not a scrambler. He's not particularly creative within the pocket, making guys miss, being able to continue to be dynamic attacking plays. Doesn't have the strong arm to attack deep downfield. He has his strengths, but you have to have the perfect opportunity to use those, and doesn't necessarily have a high floor compared to a lot of these guys. So I'm not mad at D, but I could be convinced to go bottom of C.
Wow. I can't.
Wow.
Because even with everything that you said, that just screams to me, all right, you still have to go out and prove it.
Yeah.
And so
unproven is okay. So I guess C, the title for C is you can win with them. Do we want to say you can win the Super Bowl with them, or you can win at a high level? Because maybe you can't. Maybe they're not winning the Super Bowl with him, but I think they can make a deep run with him. Probably. Like,
no, I think for C we should say like you can win a Super Bowl with them.
Okay, if that's the thing. I do think it's possible, I guess, but it's tough.
Yeah, I think Super Bowl is like that's the ultimate goal. I think that's where we should go.
Okay, I think Tua's. Let's revisit that, but I think Tua being unreliable, the health of it all, anyways, too. That can make him be unreliable for sure. So he'll go be there.
Okay, again, if you guys feel steady on, again, we're doing like a little bit of projection. Of course, like he's been in the league for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
With the changes that I forget, where did we rank the Miami Dolphins in our last
in the offseason?
The offseason was not that great. We gave it like a C or a D in terms of them getting better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's tough. I don't think that's the other part. Is if we're projecting a little bit, I don't think any of this will be particularly better next year. They traded Jonnu Smith, so they have even less of the short game pass catching game that made up for the lack of deep balls. They addressed their O-line a little bit. They gave up multiple picks to get a second round guard, which was not the greatest asset management, but hopefully he can start right away and help there. So maybe their offensive line will get better. They lost Armstead, but they have somebody in the wing in the come up that Dolphins fans feel good about starting there. TBD. I don't necessarily think they're going to have a strong running game to make life easier for him next year. So I don't really think we'll regret being low on him right now.
No, it's good. It's good. They're done.
Drake May. Now we get to projecting because he did only play 1 year, looked very strong in that 1 year. The comp of Josh Allen brain and Justin Herbert's body and skills seemed very accurate. That's pretty much exactly how he played. He has the audacity of Josh Allen and a lot of the similar skill sets and the big arm style quarterback that can stand in the pocket and make plays of Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
But obviously he was just a rookie, showed signs. We have to project with him, I think, a little bit.
You have to. And that's why I'm putting him in C. I do think that okay.
Let's say this. Project what you think he'll be next year.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Long term, I do think I think Drake May long term is top 10 caliber. I think he'll be really, really good. I definitely think that you can win a Super Bowl with him. Next year, he's not going to get to that level just because even though that the Patriots won the offseason, the whole infrastructure around him is not going to be one of like the 5 best rosters in the league. So I don't think that there's some crazy leap that's about to happen. But getting from one of the worst run teams, because even as bad as like the Bears were or that the Raiders were last year, you very easily can make the argument that the Patriots had the worst situation last year.
Yeah.
And so to go from that to a very competent Mike Vrabel led team, I think Drake May is gonna take a leap. So, but he's still unproven. So I guess he kind of has to go in D. But like he's going to be better than Tua next year.
Yeah, I think
very easily.
For most of these guys, I'll pay attention to last year, but I think with Drake May, we can give him. He was a rookie, and the team situation was bad, and I think it'll be a similar thing when we get to Caleb. Their team situation, I think, will be a lot better next year. So I think we can project that they'll be a lot better. I don't think we have to go all the way to B tier just because we do still have to see it. We're not going to project that much off blind faith.
B tier is insane, yeah.
But C, I feel fine saying he's going to be C next year. I feel very good about that. He does have accuracy issues, obviously, that he has to work through. that is baked into being a rookie. But I do believe that we can just account for just like blind trusting that development will happen. And I think the strengths are there. His improvisation ability in the pocket, being able to withstand pressure, is so Justin Herbert-esque.
Yeah.
Being able to stand in there, make creative arm angle throws. He already has solid placements on deep balls along the hashes. The consistency isn't there yet. Like I said, he was a rookie, and the protection was god awful.
Yeah.
But if it's at least competent next year, we have a better play caller. If Josh McDaniels comes in and gives them a baseline floor of competency, I have no doubt that he'll be able to execute the scheme and not hold them back.
I'm not gonna lie, with all the things that you guys are saying, on top of knowing all the offseason additions that they did, getting them of course, like an older but a respected, serviceable wide receiver in Stephon Diggs, the whole back line change as well. It feels like next year he could be in B tier.
If you told me at the end of next year he's B tier and makes a second year leap that like is similar to what we saw in the first year leap for like a CJ Stroud or whatever, where he came in and had competency and had a great year and had the necessary elements to show his processing ability. If you tell me Drake May does that in year 2, I think, well, one, that would be putting a lot of faith in rookies that they drafted, and that I hope in this winning the draft actually equates to success in year 1. But if that does happen and the supporting cast is good enough, Kyle Williams can win consistently, the coaching is substantially better, I think I won't be shocked at all on Drake May's part.
He probably has one of the best opportunities to do it just because the division isn't that great. And so, like, you're going to play the Jets and you're going to play the Dolphins 4 times out of the season. If you can go 3-1 in those games, right? You know that you're going to have a last place schedule in general. There's going to be a lot of opportunities for you to go and get some dubs. Like, okay, we can get to B.
It does sound funny to say can win the Super Bowl with them with Drake May, who was just a fucking rookie.
Yeah.
But again, we have to project with these guys that literally played 1 year and not even a full year. So that is logically inconsistent with what's going to see the rest of the list. But if it's a year 2 guy, we have to do some deep projection.
Year 1 and year 2 are going to be the most logically inconsistent period.
Yeah. So you're going to comment about it, and because some people are going to see some guys that are, I guess, more proven above him or below him. We understand, but you got to do it. You can't do it. You can't put him next to Tua.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. Tua specifically is the guy who's just, there's so many questions about him, is his health and the concussions and all that stuff, and also knowing that the O-line necessarily doesn't project to be the most improved. I feel okay with you guys putting him in D.
Yeah,
but it is worrisome a little bit because that is a bet. That is a bet. And your name is definitely on the line.
I feel good betting on Drake May, honestly, in general. I feel pretty much almost every quarterback in that class last year, I feel good betting on them.
Okay.
Besides a couple maybe, but we'll get to that. And okay, what do you want to do, Justin Fields? I don't want to shit on Justin Fields too much. Obviously, we know he is what he is. The passing processing just hasn't really developed at all. But the legs are a legit weapon. This is going to be a ground and pound team in New York.
Is he going to use them?
Yeah, I think they're going to use. I hope they're going to use him for design runs and get the most out of that running game the same way they do with Lamar. Yeah. I hope we see that. So I assume the running will be a legit weapon for them. But obviously, none of us feel super strongly about his ability to elevate anybody as a passer, or even really can win with them as a passer. So that, to me, the question is D or F. How harsh do we want to be?
D or F.
He got his chain took by Russell Wilson.
And obviously, and people are going to see this and they're going to be like, he was playing good. They were winning games. That's a prevailing narrative.
They were winning games.
Yeah, they were winning games in spite of his. There's a reason he got pulled. An NFL coach doesn't want to pull a quarterback when they're winning games. That means he was seeing enough missed opportunities as a passer that he said, even though we're getting by with you, the ceiling is clearly higher without you. That says a lot.
And that's the whole Steelers ethos of it's not going to look pretty. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about where anybody else is. We get W's. And Justin Fields was getting W's and Tomlin was like, yeah, bro.
Yeah.
So with this
get out of here.
Conversation, it sounds like you guys want to put him in F because it literally sounds like he did hold his team back last year.
I do. I don't know. I'm just so biased towards giving youth a chance and cutting, because football is such a contextual sport and people are so harsh with their evaluations of quarterbacks and not taking in the context. So I'm always inclined to give young guys time and bail. But I do feel very little faith that he's going to be able to make
it. It's been a little bit of time.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of time.
So
you say youth, and I'm like,
you're right.
How old is he?
Yeah, so I feel very little faith that we're going to see the footwork develop, the anticipation develop, the ability to be consistent and identify the reads. We have simple sail concepts where the fucking corner route gets open and he throws a check down and gets the tight end slammed because he just didn't see the guy coming open. That happens way too much that I'm fine assuming he is who he is.
Let's go F.
Okay.
Wow.
And I listen, Jets fans are gonna be pissed about that, but whatever, it is what it is. Somebody's gonna be mad. Yeah, you can't put Tua and Fields in the same tier. Like Tua has been
That sounds ridiculous.
way too competent, way too. I was gonna say successful, but way too like.
I mean, he's been more successful than.
He's been way too successful to get Justin Fields comparisons.
Yeah, and genuinely too, I saw a stat just last night, I believe. Whenever Tua has been out, his team misses him direly. You know, and they look like a night and day team offensively when he's there.
But that's also an indictment on the backup situation. But yeah. Okay, let's go to the AFC West. Jump to the other coast. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes S tier. We'll go there. And we're gonna rank within these tiers. Are we still putting Patrick Mahomes above?
He's one.
He's still one.
He's one.
And obviously, the counting stats have gone down in the past couple of years as they've lost their vertical weapons. And under Matt Nagy, whether or not he's really in charge of this or not, but they've gone to much more of a dink and dunk team. They beat you with efficiency, with death by 1,000 cuts. Mahomes has been surgical in that regard, but he doesn't have the explosive plays. Obviously, they were 27th in explosive plays last year. His turnovers have gone up. There has been times where, despite obviously the style of play being different, he has played poorly in some stretches in the regular season, but he's making goddamn Super Bowls and keeps showing up when it counts. Does that make it so, despite the lack of regular season success, you'd still rather have him over Josh Allen?
Also, too, did you guys see his new haircut?
I did.
There has to be some
aura points,
aura points added on top of that, bro.
Okay.
Average depth to target has plummeted the past 2 years. So it's really symbolic of who they have on the team, not necessarily his abilities, but there has been stretches that you have to acknowledge where he just hasn't played to his normal standards, whether or not it's because of that change or just rust in regular season, late malaise, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Is there any argument to put him below Josh Allen?
There is. I think
you mean above Josh Allen? No.
No, below. Like right now, the default is him being above Josh Allen because he's Mahomes, one of the best of all time. Gotcha. But last year in the regular season, Josh Allen produced better, but Mahomes made the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So
I think like the argument for Josh Allen is all the things that we said, and the fact that the offense has also been reconstructed in Buffalo. Again, not like in the same exact way, but you've had to go under a transformation, and Josh Allen has been able to carry. Like Josh Allen is one of the most versatile tools and weapons that the league has ever seen. He's 6'5", right? All that. And while Mahomes has been going like this, and there's weeks where we're like, are we ever going to see like that vintage Mahomes? We're in the era right now where every single week Josh Allen's doing something that's ridiculous. And he still can't beat Pat, so get behind him. Like they still go head to head every single year, and somehow, some way, Patrick Mahomes finds a way to keep his team on schedule, to stay very, very on top of the game plan and the game script, and make sure that he's not making mistakes in the biggest moments. And not even that Josh Allen has made like massive mistakes or anything like that, but the fact that you can look at Kansas City, look at everything offensively that has dwindled year after year, and then the fact that Mahomes is still there, they are still making Super Bowls. I have to give him the credit, because the conference, as great as the other three quarterbacks in that conference are, nobody can beat Mahomes. Nobody has been able to do that. So I'm giving him that credit.
Shout out Steve Spagnuolo. But I also do have faith that, if we're doing a little bit of projecting, I hope and believe we'll see some normalization this year if his wide receiver room can finally stay healthy. He spent 2 years rebuilding this room. We got Rashee Rice in the door, got hurt to start last year, got Xavier Worthy in the door. Obviously, he's a rookie last year. Second half of the year, we started to see them actually be able to use him in a very effective manufactured way, use that skill set, use that gadget skill set. I think that'll be complimentary off of Worthy. We'll see what we get from Travis Kelce in this coming year, but hopefully Isaiah Pacheco stays healthy and they have a more efficient running attack than Kareem Hunt being their most efficient rusher at 3.9 yards per carry. Hopefully we see better there. If they stay healthy, I think we could finally see the year where they've recouped enough players and put it together that there can be some form of not return to the 2018, 2020 days where he was the most ridiculous, deep bomb, unstoppable offense we've seen in the modern NFL. That probably won't happen again, but I think we'll see better than what we've seen in the past 2 years.
Okay. I feel obviously S is great, but I feel like this year seems like it could be the year where they remain constant and find, like you said, recoup certain guys as well. Through all the things that you said when it comes to them just consistently losing names offensively and all his weapons just being depleted due to natural, like contractual things or whatever. If there's one remaining constant, it's him. And seeing how the Chiefs have been able to just like remain consistent because of him, I feel like this is a good pace.
Yeah, the only thing that I'm worried about is the O-line situation, because obviously like that was the Achilles heel that finally got ruptured in the Super Bowl, and then you go in and you trade Joe Thuney. You kind of have to revamp everything. Every time that they lose in the Super Bowl, they go out and they make major changes along the offensive line, trying to find a way to protect Patrick Mahomes. If they can do that, if they can find like solid protection around him, I think that the Chiefs are going to be another, 12, 13 win team. If they can't and it's just average, like, oh, well, we have Mahomes. We're just going to win 11 games instead of 12.
Josh Simmons is a dog, man. I feel like it's going to be hilarious. People will be so pissed that they walk into getting one of the best offensive linemen in the NFL again in the end of the first round.
They better hope. They better hope, because the way that it looked at the end of last year and a lot of the explosive plays, they can't do that the same way that they were doing it, 3-4 years ago, because the offensive line doesn't allow them to do it. And then Mahomes has also, you've seen like the trust that he has in just the overall play design. A lot of times you've seen plays go by the wayside just because he's trying to do a little bit too much to compensate for the O-line and their lack of, doing their jobs. So we've seen him get better at like the mental quarterback type stuff. You would like to see the numbers, represent that as well. But I do think that he's still one.
So if you think everything else around him like does remain and the O-line does hold up to be better than last year, bare minimum, do you think he could sneak his way into being ranked number 2?
Who? Mahomes?
Yeah.
He's ranked number 1 right now. We're keeping him 1.
Yeah, we're keeping Mahomes.
Oh,
at
wow.
1.
Okay.
Yeah, we're keeping him at 1.
Yeah, we're keeping Mahomes at 1.
Okay.
Let's go Bo Nix. Another, second-year player. So, better rookie season than Drake May, just because he was on a more win-now team. He was in a Sean Payton offense that was effective. Great defense behind him. Drake May was obviously in hell. Where do we got to project with these second-year guys? Where do you want to put him in comparison to Drake May?
Yo, I think you could win with Bo Nix.
Yeah, you certainly can't. They won with him. They made the playoffs. You certainly, actually, I forgot, that's can win the Super Bowl. I don't know if you win the Super Bowl with him, but I do think after 1 year, he deserves the credit to be in C tier.
I think they can. I think Bo Nix is a kind of quarterback that you can win the Super Bowl. Now, is everything else going to have to be crazy around it? Yeah, but you have an offensive genius in Sean Payton. You have a team that had, one of, if not the best defense that only got better this offseason. You can see a little bit of like, we can get some upgrades as with the pass catchers, the running back that they just got. Like, there's paths to where the Broncos can actually make deep runs. You get a little bit of development. I like Bo Nix. I'm putting him in C2.
I mentioned this to you yesterday. I'm not surprised you like Bo Nix.
Yeah.
He is, archetype-wise, pretty much exactly like young Jalen Hurts. He is low-key like white Jalen Hurts in terms of how they run attack.
You can win the Super Bowl with that.
Yeah, so I'm not surprised. No, I think Jalen Hurts made a lot of... He's like the best version of that. And what I mean by that is 13% of Bo Nix's throws were deep last year. It's 9th in the NFL. So they go deep a lot. He had a good connection in the second half of the year with Courtland Sutton on those deep shots, but the first... So we'll say this before I get to all this. First quarter of the year, Bo Nix was absolutely fucking horrendous.
Yeah.
Then Sean Payton realized you can't ask him to drop back and dice teams up in the way that he wanted him to have this like Drew Brees play style with the Sean Payton quarterback. Can't do that. They put in a lot to put him in position to succeed. That he had so many rollout plays, being able to get outside the pocket and attack one side of the field, which is good for any young quarterback because if you can drop effective plays, having to read one sideline is much easier than having to read the entire field. So naturally, you get him rolling out to his right, he'll be more effective there. And he was very good there. But 13% of his throws were deep, so they went deep a lot. And they were second in the NFL in throws behind the line of scrimmage. So when he was at his best, they were throwing hella screens, getting rack yards, and throwing deep shots. That's the Jalen Hurts. That's the Jalen Hurts, style of play, as well as being really effective with his legs. He can run. That guy is mobile. He has wheels. And I think at times we saw some inconsistency when he maybe wanted to run too fast and bailed out of pockets too fast, like a young Jalen Hurts. But he legitimately is a talented runner when he gets out there. So that's a give and take thing with him being young. To get to the point where you can win with Jalen Hurts is like one of the best deep ball throwers in the league, one of the most effective runners in the league. Obviously, the tush push thing is very, very effective value. And obviously, Jalen Hurts had the better, situation around him. Do you feel like, just projecting for next year, do you feel like we're going to see that level from Bo Nix? He's older.
Keep in mind, too, as well, he's older, like you said, yeah. And on top of that, too, he did play last year with 3 fractures in his goddamn back.
Bo Nix had fractures in his back?
Yeah.
I don't even think I knew that.
3 fractures in his back, bro.
That's actually ridiculous.
Tough man.
So with all that being said, including the rushing yards as well, and I think he was able to get like 4 rushing touchdowns as well last year. It sounds like he belongs in C tier bare minimum, but it sounds like you also want to put him in B tier.
No, I mean he's not going to be a top 10 quarterback next year, but he's definitely better than Drake May. Like we're putting Drake May in C tier based off of like projection and what we think he can be. Bo Nix actually, especially improving in season, was able to lead that team and lead that offense into like a playoff berth. And they were like, I think that has to count for something. So I think at minimum, even if we're just going based off of last year, you can win. You can win with Bo Nix.
Mm-hmm. What do you think Bo Nix's completion percentage was in a clean pocket?
62%.
71%.
Jesus.
Dice teams up because in a clean pocket, a lot of that is the screenplays, stuff like that. Under pressure, 48%. He is not good under pressure whatsoever.
Then don't let him get pressure. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, I think that's a general thing with this list. Is one of the most important things a QB can do is be able to handle pressure, because you're not always going to have the best case scenario. Your O-line's not always going to be entirely healthy. He was disastrous at times last year handling pressure. And like I said, I think Sean Payton did a fantastic job of getting his strengths out of him, getting him rolling out of the pocket, using those legs. To win a Super Bowl with a quarterback, you need to be able to stand in the pocket, handle pressure, attack the middle of the field. Those are his biggest weaknesses right now, and I think they're arguably the most important things about the position. And it is projection. He had a better rookie year than Bo Nix, than Drake May, because he was on the Broncos and Drake May was on the Patriots.
Yeah.
I do think Drake May is going to be better than him next year. I don't feel like assuming, again, the same thing we said earlier, assuming competency of the Patriots, I don't feel like it's that hard to believe Drake May has a better second year.
That's fine. The Broncos still have an amazing situation to where even a slight improvement from Bo Nix, I think, can get you to a spot where you're above Drake May.
Okay.
But do you think he's better at football? Like, that's like, do you really think he's better?
If you guys were GMs, would you be the one to?
Well, no. I mean, I would take like the 22-year-old over like the over like
senior.
the 30-year-old. But like,
goddamn.
But
as talents,
we'll do it. For
a
season. We'll put Drake May ahead of Bo Nix for right now.
Okay.
But again, Bo Nix is still C tier, and started last year. I don't think people had a lot of faith to be here.
That's big projection, but okay.
That's bold.
I think we have to be prediction with these guys coming off their first year. And I think there's drastic enough changes in the Patriots that I think that's not it's a bet. We might look silly, but I don't feel like that's a bad bet.
Okay.
Geno Smith. That is, to me, that's just quintessential B tier.
That's a top 10 quarterback.
I'm not gonna lie. I was reading comments of the last episode, and people were frying you guys for thinking that Geno Smith is a top 10 quarterback. And also,
guess what?
Like for some reason as well, the internet just don't like this man at all in top 10
because he sucked for a decade.
Yeah, exactly.
People can't get the old image out of his head. And last year wasn't tremendously successful offensively for the team. I think the fact that they were a competent offense was entirely because of him last year. Their O-line was abysmal. He had so bad protection, and he has become so good at standing in the pocket, getting the ball out quickly, and making good decisions consistently with that. Now, he does have his moments where he makes bad decisions and throws bad picks because he's extremely aggressive, and that bites you sometimes.
Yeah, he had 15 interceptions last year.
Which is a lot. And it became because he had zero protection. It was a disaster. They had bad OC job. It wasn't a good year for the offense, and I think it would have been so much worse without his abilities to handle that pressure, to stand in the pocket, like I said, be aggressive. I think we're going to see a gigantic jump in the Raiders this year, assuming Chip Kelly comes in and can lead a good offense. We'll see. We'll see if that's a big swing factor, but I think Geno Smith is, to me, I did my rankings in my head the other day. I have him at number 10. I can put him at lowest number 12 in the league.
Okay. I guess, quick side question, with assuming everything else goes well, where do you think you can win-wise? The Raiders had 4 wins last year. How many more wins do you think?
Their defense is still going to be horrible, so I don't even know. I don't even care about their wins, but I don't remember what their offense was in average. Let me look at what their offense was in EPA last year. It's going to be better this year. I can guarantee it.
Okay. Yeah, and I'm checking my notes and just my overall rankings. I had Geno at 12. Right?
Okay.
So it's the right range, and it's really only 12 because of how bad last season was. I think if you were asking me coming off of, like, if he had a similar season to where he had the year prior, I would look at Geno. I'd be like, yeah, that's like top 8.
Yeah.
And so, because again, with the aggression, with the arm talent, like there's stuff that in throws that Geno not only can make, but just overall just tries in general, where there's not a lot of quarterbacks that do that. So I do think that the Raiders, I'm gonna give them and I'm going into the season thinking that they're going to be the team that turns it around the most, just because I feel more confident in what Geno can do as a quarterback right now than, say, a Drake May or a Caleb Williams, where you still have to add them and their growth on top of all of the roster reconstruction. So top 10 is perfectly fine.
Geno Smith is 4th in the NFL in completion percentage under pressure. He is legitimately good at handling that. And I think the Raiders still won't have a good offensive line.
Yeah.
So that will be essential. And that's probably why they targeted him, because they knew this type of short-term desire to be competent will need somebody who can handle that, because they're not going to be able to rebuild that overnight.
Yeah.
And his weapons will be decent enough. He has the best receiving tight end in the NFL. I think we all think Ashton Genty will be an elite running back, probably from fucking day one. And they have Jacoby Myers, who's underrated. But it's still not going to be a strong room. So I think if he once again has them in the top 15 in EPA with that lackluster offensive line, average wide receiver room, that will be a big testament to his skill.
Facts.
And I think in general, people need to you have to evaluate everybody based on what they're doing with what they have.
Yeah.
He didn't have a whole lot going for him last year. He will not have a whole lot going for him next year. If the Raiders go from being 31st in EPA for dropback to 15th, that will be a gigantic testament to what he can do with less.
That's a top 10 quarterback, man. He's going to end the season.
He says that after you put him at 12.
No, I know. And again, but it's only because of how weird last year was. I do think that at the end of this year, he's going to be top 10.
Yeah, I feel very strongly about respecting him. And obviously, he's Geno Smith and it didn't go well. And people are very reactionary to what you did in the last year for quarterback reputations, as we'll see with the next name. I will die on the fact that Geno Smith has had the last 3 years at a top 10 level. Wow. And he's getting old, so if he falls off, he falls off. You never know. But last 3 seasons, he has certainly been on a level to me.
Yeah. Okay.
So last name in this division, we got Justin Herbert. We got everybody's least favorite quarterback if you're not a Chargers fan.
Oh my god.
The guy who drives the most controversy in quarterback conversations. If you ask somebody who hates him, he is the most overrated quarterback in the NFL. Can't win in the playoffs. Choker. Bum. How dare you put him in top 10 conversations? You ask an NFL nerd or a Chargers fan, God forbid, 5th best quarterback in the league, most underrated guy who has no help, a guy who just needs a good team that his peers have, needs the weapons that his peers have. Where are we falling with that? You know where I fucking fall. Where do you guys fall?
Statistically, I found out last night that he had a 66% completion percentage, and in the postseason, it dropped to 44%.
In one game.
Yeah, in one game specifically, you're right. And obviously, in the playoffs as well, that reflects very, very poorly when it comes to all those interceptions. So I understand the narrative, and I understand that he is the definition of if man.
Yeah, I understand the narrative. It's a narrative for a reason. It's Don, what do you think?
I mean, he's an A-tier quarterback.
There we go.
I agree. Yeah, he's A-tier. I do think that I don't think people are pulling do I think the narrative is exaggerated? Yeah. Do I think they're pulling it out of thin air? Absolutely not.
Of course not. You lost the game and you played poorly in the game. It's not a thin air.
He threw 3 interceptions the entire year and then threw 4 in the playoff game, which is wild.
Yeah, and it's tough because again, football is very what have you done for me lately, especially with quarterbacks. It's very
Do you want to go back 2 years where they had a where they were up 24 and in a playoff game and choked that away? It is. You have those two opportunities where, and I'll honestly give him a little bit more grace for the blown lead, just because I hated Brandon Staley. I thought that Brandon Staley was an awful head coach, so I'll give him a little bit more grace there. But you've had 2 chances. You've been in favorable things because the Texans limped into the playoffs themselves. And so it's not like you were, playing against world beaters going up against there. So it does suck that for Herbert and somebody who is as talented as he is to be 0-2 in the playoffs and to have that cloud kind of around you.
Anytime you talk to a Justin Herbert hater, and we can talk specifically about last year or in general, you say, why isn't he top 10? What is he bad at? Why is he losing these games? What about him means he can't perform in the playoffs? They always say he's not good in the playoffs. He's a choker. Tell me something about his skill set that means he can't win the playoffs. There is not a single answer other than, no, he just can't get it done. Whereas I can give you a million reasons on why contextually they lost that game to specifically the Texans, and in general why he's worthy of being top 5. There is no logical reason to hate him other than the fact that he hasn't won yet. Yeah. Having not won does not mean you will not win. That is not correlation exactly. They lost to the Texans so badly because Hunter and fucking Anderson destroyed the offensive line of the Chargers. They beat the living shit out of them. Joe Alt and the entire offensive interior line, which has been a huge weakness for them, got destroyed. They got put on their backs. It was an embarrassment. And obviously, The wide receiver room with the Chargers is a little bit to be desired. Outside of Lab and Conkey, QJ was not good in that game, and the offensive line got their throats kicked in. Justin Herbert was running for his fucking life. Yes, a couple of his interceptions were bad, specifically the one where he dared to throw a fucking corner route to QJ on a jump ball, which was the stupidest decision ever because it's QJ. What the hell? Why are you trusting him of all guys? There was some bad decisions, but he was under so much duress trying to make something out of nothing the entire game because his tackles were failing him completely. It's not surprising when you actually watch the game back why they lost and why he was not able to put together good offense.
That was at the start of the game. Like the QJ one was at the start of the game.
Mm-hmm.
He put a little bit too much heat on the ball that on what ended up being a pick six to Ladd. Then you have the third pick where I forget the tight end's name, but it goes off of his hands. Yeah. You could say it's a little bit of both. Like the ball was hot, but it goes off his hands. He should make that catch, but it's not a perfect throw, whatever.
Ball was hot. I mean, that one is not his fault at all. But again, there was bad.
It is. I mean, it's not like a perfect. He should catch it, but it's also again not like he's not. It's not 100% zero. Like if it's 80-20, whatever. But like there's that, and then you have the Stingley pick at the end of the game, which like he didn't put enough air under it, and Stingley makes a great play. But like, so those 4 interceptions is like, which is. It's just mind-boggling to have 4 interceptions in a playoff game, and it's just not good. And there is a lot of like, all right, you got to start doing a little bit of something because the Chiefs are who they are. Denver is only improving. You think that the Raiders are gonna make some type of comeback. The Chargers are in a position where, as a whole, they do have to step up and they do have to start, winning games and doing stuff. And Herbert is obviously going to be a big part of that as well.
Yeah, for sure. But again, he played poorly. I'm not saying that was a bad game.
Yeah.
And nobody in NFL discourse considers sample size at all because it's such a like you gotta show up, win that one game. So it is what it is. No, one game does not define who a player is, obviously. And we have so much sample size of him being one of the most talented quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yeah.
This regular season.
Yeah, he's very talented.
Yeah, and he was effective this year too. It wasn't even just talent. Like this was, I guess, the one weakness he had in the recent years. Main thing was he was too robotic. He'll never be a top 3 quarterback in the league of the likes of Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. He just doesn't have the legs really. He can run, but he doesn't have the rushing instinct, the scrambling instinct to be quite as playmaking as those guys. Yeah. He is a rather robotic quarterback. He's going to stand in the pocket. He's going to be creative in the pocket and be able to make guys miss, but he's going to go through his progressions. He's going to check down, do his play actions, and be kind of like a Matt Stafford where he'll be creative in the pocket, but you're not going to see him blowing the game open like Josh Allen, running out, trucking guys and stuff. That'll never be him. So
that sounds like the best argument genuinely when it comes to why he belongs in A tier and probably won't sniff S tier just as of right now or maybe next year.
He'll never be S tier.
Yeah, exactly. That's the best argument when you talk about like the actual nuances to his game and why he belongs there, and also why he can't ever sniff S tier too.
Yeah, but at the same time, what's the glaring flaw in his game? Can you give me what's a glaring flaw? He's extremely accurate these days as he continues to progress. Obviously, the arm talent is ridiculous. Yeah. He's probably the best in the NFL at killing you up the seams with these hole shots with that arm strength. He's not one of those just gunners. He's not Jameis Winston. He doesn't just throw deep and have no accuracy. He's very accurate. Great at all the arm angle stuff. Great at extending plays. When he does rush, he has wheels. This year, underneath in Greg Roman, you saw his counting stats get neutered because it's a rush-first offense, and Greg Roman there's a reason the Ravens let him go, and Lamar Jackson exploited. Not the most creative passing game guy, but they encouraged Justin Herbert to be more creative. He had his best year with his legs in that regard. What's the glaring flaw that prevents him from being the 6th best quarterback in the league?
I do think that it is the legs. I think like it's the legs and it's the creativity that I think.
And then improved last year.
Yeah, but if you just ask me like what's the thing, because he is so talented, so the thing that keeps him out of S, it is that.
Yeah. But what I'm really saying
are you saying like
people that want to take him out of A is what I'm saying. Like people that want to take him out of A, like there's no reason to like to ding him in terms of his abilities. Obviously, the outcome hasn't been there, but it's pretty fucking simple to understand why the offensive line interior is not good. People assume the offensive line is great because they have this highly drafted tackle duo. The interior was abysmal. Bradley Bozeman stinks. Zion Johnson stunk. Hopefully Mekhi Becton can change their fucking lives, but they don't have good protection. They have a bottom 5 interior offensive line, a bottom 3 wide receiver room, especially outside of Ladd. Last year, a bottom 3 running back room, especially in the second half of the year when J.K. Dobbins, post-injury, really lost a step. Gus Edwards was cooked. There is no support there that you can say this is something that like should make Justin Herbert's life easier.
Yeah, but now you're going into year 2 of Lad. You're gonna add in Amari and Hampton. Like you're gonna have some weapons, and you're gonna have some things that you can work with. So
assuming the rookies are good,
yeah,
which is an assumption.
But I mean, for you can put in a lot of rookie running backs and at least assume that they're going to be competent.
Yeah.
And so for somebody as talented as Hampton, like that's somebody like Hampton to be in a Greg Roman system under Jim Harbaugh. Like, yeah, you're going to have the opportunities, buddy, to be a great player from day one. So I'm with you. I think that Herbert should be in A tier.
Okay.
If this year goes by and the same thing happens again, I can't fight off the haters for too much longer because it is getting spooky.
I agree. If he throws 4 interceptions again, I'm like, fuck. But like that's such an outlier. Like even in that game,
you
against
get
the Jags,
1 interception this entire postseason, Justin Herbert. You throw 2, it's over. You're down at sea with Bo Nix and Drake.
Do you think Jim Harbaugh being there now could possibly unlock anything in his game?
Yeah, it did last year. They went to the heaviest play action team in the NBA in the NFL. He was number 1 in play action volume, and I think he was number 2 in play action efficiency. So that changed it up a little bit. That ideally would give them a floor, but the rushing game was not effective with J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards. So if Amari and Hampton can be effective and he has a strong run game, we still need to see him get better wide receivers. Hopefully Trey Harris can do that for him in year 1. So if everything comes together and these rookies are good, I think it'll be helpful to him as a player to have a strong rushing attack. It won't be good for his stats because they're a heavy rushing team, so the counting stats won't be quite as crazy as they were in like year 1 and year 2. But yeah, there's a world in which that makes life easier for him.
Facts.
Okay.
All right, next division.
Look at that. Civil discourse over Justin Herbert.
Oh, the comments aren't going to find it civil at all. They're going to call me Cope and all this stuff. It won't be civil whatsoever. Next one, AFC South. Where do you want to go? Who's the first thing that comes to mind that you want to talk about?
Let's just start with Cam Ward and just the rookie of it all.
Yeah,
makes sense.
Let's get him out the way.
Rookie's here.
Yeah,
and that's just he's a rookie. We haven't seen him play at all. I think he'll be solid, but that Titans team will still not be good. Not much to project yet because
is he walking into, when it comes to rookie quarterbacks, which is only a few now, is he walking into like the worst situation as a rookie quarterback?
No, not the worst situation.
It's a standard situation for teams that had the number 1 overall pick the year prior.
Yeah, Calvin Ridley's a good receiver. If you list every single wide receiver 1, he's not towards the top of the list. They signed some offensive line help this summer that hopefully should help. There's some projection needs to be had there, but it should be. He shouldn't be left up to dry where he can't do anything. But it's also not like, whoa, he's walking in the best situation ever.
How's their wide receiver room?
Mid. But it's not horrible. It's just mid as fuck.
Okay.
So we'll just throw Cam rookie and keep it pushing. What's the second thing you want to do?
I guess in terms of keeping pushing,
let's go CJ Stroud. Let's talk about Stroud.
Okay.
Because he is a very interesting case. I do think that CJ Stroud still is a top 10 quarterback.
Yeah, I agree. I rank him top 10.
Yeah.
I put him right above Geno Smith at 9.
That makes sense.
Okay.
That makes sense.
I'm fine putting him B for sure. Do you feel like, rookie year, he was A tier caliber? People were saying, he's like number 6 or 5 next to Justin Herbert. Obviously, second year didn't go well. Everything kind of fell apart around them. It wasn't really his fault, but it is what it is. It was a second year sophomore slump.
Yeah. But looking at looking at the specific things statistically, it seems like he is a resounding top 10 quarterback when it comes to how he's able to control what he can control. He was number 1 in passing pressure and all the other metrics as well. Just like screams that he is still top 10 regardless of whatever the fuck is going on around him.
Yeah, I think he's not elite, but I think that isn't 100% his fault. I think that's a Bobby Slowick fault. Like it's his fault because the Texans' offense last year was absolutely ridiculous, and it was like from play design to play calling and just like tempo and all that to the offensive line being terrible. I think that's bad, but this year I do like. There's already been a lot of talk about how Nick, I'm blanking on his name. Nick Caley, the new OC. They're putting a lot more on CJ Stroud's plate. He's going to have a lot more control of the offense. And so if you think that CJ Stroud is, very quarterbacky in that way and can do all those things, there is room for him to elevate to A tier. I just think that right now, because of how bad last year went and some of the bad habits that reared their head because of the pressure, I think right now B tier is very solid.
Yeah, I think we saw that accuracy kind of the accuracy. Everyone talked about him like he was some godly accurate quarterback after year one. And in year two, when the situation wasn't perfect, I think you saw a little bit more. He's a young quarterback, so there's room to develop. Yeah. But I still have all the faith in the world that if they can get that protection right, which is a big if, because that offensive line still is a goddamn disaster. We'll see if they have some young guys develop and they change our minds. But on paper, it's not going to be one of the stronger units in the NFL. So I'm kind of worried on his ability to have a complete bounce back. But I'm still not going to knock him down like too much. I still think he's, like I said, the 9th best quarterback. If he's in B, he's the top of B to me.
Okay.
Or one of the top 3 in B. I think B might be a big tier.
Okay, yeah.
But he's above Geno.
He is above Geno.
Okay.
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah, that one's easy. Not even much to say. You guys know CJ Stroud. We are still fully on believing in him. Where do you want to go next?
I mean, I think that there's just... Oh, no, there's 2 left. Let's go AR. Okay. Or Daniel Jones, whoever gets the starting
I put Anthony Richardson on this tier list. It's just... the development hasn't been there. It's been obviously a bad situation for him. They drafted a project and didn't have the patience for the project to play out. He's very young. The potential is there if it comes together. But we've seen nothing really at all. He was the worst quarterback in the NFL under pressure. He was one of the most inefficient quarterbacks from pretty much every spot on the field. Got benched for a reason. Last year, he was clearly an F.
Okay.
Do you want to have faith that he can get himself to D?
Not at all.
Damn.
Not at all.
There's no redeeming qualities in his game?
He's very athletic. Okay. Which is awesome.
And uses that, and he gets hurt a lot because of that.
Yeah. Like, if he was a builder player on Madden, you're like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
We're going to win the Super Bowl for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
But he is able to do like extraordinary things well. Like, he can fall back. He can be falling back, laying backwards and throw a ball 80 yards on target.
That's
and
so
then,
stupid.
And then you're like, hey, throw this check down 5 yards away. And he can't do it.
And 26% completion percentage on passes over 20 yards. So, we had that flash of that crazy deep ball he threw. That was one of the greatest throws you've ever seen last year. The consistency on the deep balls was not there. The consistency reading the quick game was even worse. Josh Downs exploded when Anthony Richardson got benched because he is a quick game specialist, can attack on the short intermediate areas really well. With Anthony Richardson, he was neutered. There are so many wide receivers on this team right now that it's like, hey man, if they can get competent play, they're going to explode. Adonai Mitchell's a great route runner.
Nobody can hit him. Free AD. AR had the lowest completion percentage over expected last year. Negative 11%. For that. I think he definitely holds you back.
Don't tell me that. I heard he got, I think, LASIK surgery over the offseason. And
it's done.
Listen, man.
It's done. It's done. It's over. I don't think I would not bet on AR making any type of significant leap that can get him into where you feel like, hey, we're gonna extend you for one more year. We feel good about the direction that you're going. You are in a quarterback battle with Daniel Jones right now.
Damn.
If he starts a majority of the games, people are getting fired. Like that's the tier that I think he's in. I think he's a tier below Justin Fields because I think at this point in his career, what Justin Fields is because of the athletic potential of Richardson. He is in a tier of he will get everybody fired.
Damn.
And that's
but is that his fault?
Yes, it's his fault. Yes, it's his fault.
So I see what you're getting at. Was he not given a good hand and needs time to develop? Maybe. But you only get so much time in the NFL. Everybody is coaching for their jobs. You have to balance being able to give a guy time versus trying to win games because you can't be that much of a disaster. You can't tank like you can in the NBA. So he has to show some progress this year for sure. If he doesn't, it will be his fault.
Okay.
You put him on a team that had Jonathan Taylor, that had Shane Steichen, who changed Jalen Hurts' life, right? And you bring him to Indy to do the same thing with Anthony Richardson, who has more physical tools than nearly everybody in the league, and he can't do it. And it hasn't been shown up until this.
There was one quarterback in the NFL last year that played at least 50 dropbacks that had a worse short completion percentage than Anthony Richardson.
Will Levis.
Tim Boyle.
Damn.
Who played 3 games for the New York Giants at the end of the season. The only worst short passer with any type of volume in the NFL last year. On top of Anthony Richardson having 25 deep ball percentage.
That's damning.
So there's no reason to have faith right now. Again, Tua's D, there's no reason to put him in the same tier as Tua. That'd be disrespectful.
When he was getting drafted, did you guys feel like, were you guys like roughly high on him?
No.
Not at all.
I was
cool project. Like, I don't know. Like nothing. I hope it works. Didn't work.
Okay. Yeah. I feel he was never going to fall to the range that I thought that he should go. Because what I ideally would have wanted was like a really good team, either trade up and then draft him and sit him and develop him. Like a team like the Rams or the Lions or something like that, where you know that you have a plan after Jared Goff, or you have a plan after Matthew Stafford and stuff like that. That's why I would have liked. It was never going to happen, but sounds like iffy. Because all of these development projects are just like trying to be Josh Allen 2.0.
Yeah.
Where you get a very physical, toolsy type of player and say, can we just get you in the building and see if you can develop all the other things later? Josh Allen so far has been really the only one to make the leaps that everybody's hoping for out of the really athletic like QB projects.
Trevor Lawrence, another interesting debate one, has been disappointing to start his career. That's obviously goes without saying. Whether or not you want to say a bust, disaster, whatever phrasing you want to say to how extreme it is, to each their own. But he has not been the level of which people were expecting, because people were expecting him to be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yeah.
He was that type of prospect, and he's just been average at best for most of his career. Now, Liam Cohen is walking in that door. They will have one of the best young wide receiver duos in the NFL. If Brian Thomas Jr. is who we think he is and can be that top 5 to 6 wide receiver one day that he seems like he's on trajectory to be, he will have elite weapons next year, because I think we all think Travis Hunter will be good. He will have good wide receivers, I should say, at least. We'll see how the running game goes. If they can get more out of ETN and Bigsby, he should have a good infrastructure, is what I'm saying, underneath Liam Cohen in year one. Do you have faith that he will finally put it all together?
What is putting it all together?
I guess B.
B? No.
Okay,
Damn.
so
I don't think Lawrence is going to be a top 10 quarterback next year.
okay. So do you think he deserves C?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I think at this point, I think you could still look at Trevor Lawrence and say you can win with him.
Yeah.
However, it is very scary. It is very spooky. And the days of like,
What makes it scary and spooky? Was it just like straight up health reasons, or is it actually the inconsistency?
so it's a little bit of health. Like he played 10 games last year. The year before they were 6-2, and then he got hurt, and then they fell off a cliff. It hasn't been great. The situation around him also has been bad. But like Isaac said, like they drafted BTJ last year. You got Travis Hunter coming in this year. But last year he was 31st in EPA per dropback, which is not good.
That's abysmal.
Exactly.
It's abysmal.
Exactly. And then in terms of turnover worthy throws,
Yeah.
in terms of people who played 10 games or less like he did, because obviously some other people have more of those throws, but they play more games. So the only people to have more turnover-worthy plays in his sample size were Jameis and Dak.
Also, interesting fact too, he ranks 35th in allowed pressure, which absolutely reeks.
Yeah, and he got killed, but it wasn't entirely his fault. The offensive line was iffy. But, sacks and pressure is like mostly offensive line, but very much a big part of it is your quarterback holding the ball too long. Trevor Lawrence is not completely absolved to blame. He is not particularly good at managing the pocket. That is not something that's been a strength of his. I don't know. Last year, he did well from deep. He was 8th in completion percentage, over 20 yards. I just have visions of 2 years ago when Calvin Ridley was there and all of the just horrible misses where they just could not connect on the deep routes that Calvin Ridley makes his career off of. So, shout out last year. He got better in that regard, but I just had the vision of that. I had the vision of him taking too much pressure. Everything, like you said, the turnover where he throws just being bad. Now, he hasn't been dealt the best situation, so I'm not like giving up on him, but I like you said, I don't necessarily see top 10 ceiling anymore.
Yeah, that's why I would put him at the top of the C tier.
Yeah, just because those guys are so young and unproven, and that, sure. Especially because Liam Cohen is a legitimately great offensive mind, I think. Especially what he did in the running game. Dave Canales left Tampa Bay, and everyone assumed it would be like, oh man, he got hired. He was the guy that saved this offense. Liam Cohen came in and was even better. He got so much more of that run game. Maybe that's a Bucky Irving stat, but I feel good that he'll get something better out of these running backs.
It's just Liam Cohen is gonna leave, and then the Bucs are gonna be good on offense again. It's like, hey man, shout out Baker Mayfield.
Maybe it's him.
Yeah.
Okay, last position, division, AFC North. We now have our third S tier. Lamar Jackson, welcome to S tier.
Woohoo!
And honestly, do you want to put him above Josh Allen?
Yes.
I don't give a shit. They're fucking so even to me. These guys are all the S tier guys up top. To each their own. You feel passionately about Josh Allen being behind Lamar. You can have it. I don't care about the debate.
I do. I do think
you feel passionate about it.
I think that Lamar.
They're both 100 overalls to me.
And actually, here's the thing. I feel very passionate. I do think that Lamar is a better football player. However, he's killing me. He is killing me because every single year his worst performance comes in the playoffs, and I'm just like, yo, I need you to lock in for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
For 2 weeks. Because even not like last year, when the Ravens had one of the best teams in football, arguably the best team in football, had the AFC Championship game at their crib, and the Chiefs go in, you snatch their chain. This year, same thing. Well, not same thing, but you have a very, very dominant running game. You played Buffalo early in the year, killed them, and the game starts, and you see these weird turnovers from Lamar. You see an interception. You see a fumble that all of a sudden just start changing games. And you can look back at that divisional round game and blame that on Mark Andrews for dropping a pass to convert on a 2-point conversion. That was only going to tie the game, and you were still going to give Josh Allen the ball back, and he could have went down and scored and all that. But they just haven't been in a position to be in a Super Bowl, like, legitimately. And I do think that a lot of that does fall on Lamar, and he does have to play better in the playoffs. And so I think that everything else goes towards Lamar in terms of, like, regular season and winning and performance and all that stuff. But the playoffs it's killing me, and it hurts because he is that good. He is one of the best quarterbacks we've ever seen in the NFL.
I think him and Josh Allen, especially if they get a ring, which, if they can get past some Mahomes boogeyman, I think they're both on pace to be, like, top 10 quarterbacks of all time, like towards like 9 and 10. I was looking the other day, like, I got to 7 names, and I was like, I feel good about these 7 being above them.
Yeah.
Again, if they get a ring,
7 for you?
I think like Drew Brees was 7 or something like that. And I was like, then I got actually, I don't remember who number 7 was, but conversation for another day. But I say it to say the tier is called Legends. If they can both secure a ring, hopefully, and get that, like, monkey off their back that you need to have to get respect as a quarterback in historical conversations, they both have all the abilities in the world to be one of the 15 to 10 best quarterbacks we've ever seen.
Yeah. Just off of talent alone, you can make the argument that they're one of the 12, 13 best quarterbacks you've ever seen.
Yeah, already. But yeah, just if the accomplishment comes.
Of course.
You know me, I'm not a rings culture guy in football whatsoever. It's a team fucking sport. So I don't care. I think they'll probably both be top 10.
Yeah.
But to be unanimously called that, they have to get a ring. I hope they do. I hope both of them can get it done.
Dude, when I saw the numbers last night, I just thought they were so fucking fake. They make no sense. Not even in the slightest. He's the first quarterback ever to be able to throw for over 4,000 yards and also rush over 900 yards as well. That's so dumb.
He's the best dual threat quarterback of all time with his legs, obviously the best runner. Yeah. And also he's become, in the NFL currently, the second best pocket passer in the NFL. It's a ridiculous combination. He's one of the best offensive weapons you've ever seen. The way he impacts the running game and being one of the best drop back passers. He makes no sense as a player. Like, he is one of the most talented players you've
ever
seen.
And his throwing, like, mechanics too look so different compared to everyone else.
Yeah.
It feels so, like, top heavy.
Yeah. He doesn't. The legs are less in it, and he does a lot of different arm angle stuff. That when he first came up, everyone was like, "Why is this guy throwing sidearm? What is he doing? Do it right. Do it the right way."
But he's a Hall of Famer when it comes to picking his spots. Is what it seems like.
Yeah, the creativity kind of came along over time.
Just wait on it.
Mm-hmm. Joe Burrow, the best of the non-big 3, but. He is so great at the non-mobile style. And like I said, his superpower of diagnosing plays at the line of scrimmage, unstoppable. He is amazing in the short game. He's amazing at death by 1,000 cuts. He doesn't have the dual threat ability of the top guys and quite the level of playmaking. Even Mahomes, who isn't the runner of the other two, has the scrambling IQ. Does Joe Burrow deserve to be the bottom of S tier, or is he the top of A tier?
Before you give your answer real quick, QBs to get over 4,500 yards and throw over 4,500 yards in the season, throw 40 TDs and less than 10 interceptions. Can you guess those 2 names?
I'm gonna say Drew Brees.
No, Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady, and both of those players have won MVP in those years. Joe Burrow is the only NFL quarterback to not even sniff MVP for obvious reasons too. The talent is insane with him.
Okay, I'm actually very shocked that Drew Brees isn't on that. But okay, I have no. This is hard.
Very hard.
It's hard.
If he's A, he's the top of A easily. He does, like I said on the pod last week. I think him and Justin Herbert are very close in ability. He's earned it. He's earned to be A. Made the Super Bowl. He has the amazing weapons. He makes the most of it. So you can't necessarily hold it against him that he has the best wide receiver duo. Shout out his GM. He gets the production to match it, so it's proportional. So I'm not going to say he's a merchant or anything. He gets the most out of that, and he is equally as important to them. Jamar Chase is a rack god. Joe Burrow puts him in the best position to be a rack god. He's amazing at ball placement, putting it on the right shoulders so Jamar Chase can make people miss. He makes the most of it in the same way. The line has been an issue over the recent years. It's competent now. He's been a big part of being able to succeed in spite of not the best protection in the world because he gets the ball out quick, makes the right decisions, has the accuracy. If there was an argument to put somebody in the top 3 that's not at that level, it would be Joe Burrow. I personally think it's a tier break. I think those top 3 guys should be in their own tier. And you put them at the top of A tier, but I know people disagree.
I have no idea. I'm I'm gonna say bottom of S.
Bottom of S.
I do think I'm gonna put him in that top 4 because I think that top 4 is solidified, and everybody's top 4 is them, and then you'll have Mahomes, Burrow to bookend it, and then whichever order of
100%.
of Lamar and Josh.
I do think these top 3 guys have a different level of threat on all areas of the field, though. I do think, like in the modern NFL, to be this MVP level quarterback, you do need to have the legs. I think we saw, the birth of the modern NFL quarterback as we know it in that era in the early 2010s where we had the mobile guys like RG3, Andrew Luck, Colin Kaepernick, Russell Wilson, and all those guys. It came in and then it went out. It was like a fad, right? The read option thing died, and then we went back to a few years dominated by pocket passers. Aaron Rodgers on multiple MVPs. Mahomes came in, and people don't think about him in that way. But I think in recent years, as the top mobile guys have also become the top passing guys, you see a different level of ability to attack all areas of the field. You can't blitz these top 3 guys. You can't blitz them at all. If you throw pressure against them and you have to run man, they have the passing ability to find the person that is exploitable in their one-on-one matchup, especially when they have wide receivers that are good at the one-on-one, and beat you. If they aren't doing that, you have to really, really defend them with man coverage, or they're going to take off and run. I mean, zone coverage, or they're going to take off and run. I think as great as Joe Burrow is at his strengths, that to me is a different level of game plan necessary.
Yeah, but Burrow's ability to be creative and aggressive from the pocket and be able to move around back there, I do think like that's his superpower. And he's also not like, obviously he's not the mobile,
he's not a statue.
Yeah, he's not the mobile threat of any one of these guys. But he does move and he does scramble and he does use his legs. And so I feel good enough about that to where him and his traditional, like pocket passing kind of style, that's fine. And if you are giving him the weapons of Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, he's probably going to lead.
And didn't T. Higgins miss some time last year too?
Yeah.
Crazy.
And like if you're gonna give him those 2 things and be in a situation where I still don't know if Zach Taylor is a good coach.
Yeah.
I'm still questioning that, especially when they start 1-2, 1-3 every single season. And at this point, you start to feel like it's a coaching thing of just not having them ready to start the year. But there's that. Then the defense was one of the worst defenses we've seen in a long time. And they still had an opportunity to maybe make the playoffs if they got all the help needed, whatever. But like, I think that there is a level of elevating and like actual, even above Herbert elevating that Burrow does.
Okay. So bottom S tier it is.
Okay.
I don't know. He's clearly 4th. It's just where you want to put him with. I'm not mad at it. And obviously I'm higher on Herbert, so I do think they're close together, but I understand that this summer people won't agree with me on that, and that is what it is. The criticism deserved. So if you want to say it's close to the top 3 guys, go for it.
But it is also, I will say in defense of having Burrow in A tier, the playoff stuff, like you're going to lean back on the Super Bowl appearance. That was 2021.
Yeah.
That's 4 years ago, right? They were in the AFC, was either the championship game or divisional game against Kansas City again, I think in 23. But it hasn't been a lot of, playoff success. And how would you feel, this is the ultimate Eli Manning question of like, would you rather miss the playoffs and like, go to the Super Bowl or make the playoffs and lose in the first round? Like, that's kind of where you're at.
It feels hard to have like these super grand conversations when it comes to postseason achievements when there's so many like impending nuance like factors into it. And for me, knowing that out of all these quarterbacks, I guess including, let's just keep it S tier. Out of all these quarterbacks, Joe Burrow is in by far the worst situation, the worst O-line. You would say that correctly.
Of those top 4, yeah.
Of those top 4.
Assuming Kansas City gets it right this year.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Knowing what he was able to accomplish does feel right, but also the back of my mind feels like it might be a little bit much.
And he has the worst defense by far too. So the success thing also comes down to that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But as a talent, I get it. He's if you want to put him at the back half of this, I understand.
I think as a talent, he's A tier because I just, and it's a testament to those top 3 guys being in a different world of talent to me. But in terms of production, I think he gets into that conversation just by playing himself into it. So I'm not mad at it. If you want to go there, I don't care.
Okay. I'm good with that.
Next team in this division. What do you want to do with Aaron Rodgers?
Unreliable.
Really?
I feel like if Bo Nix is you can win with them, Aaron Rodgers you can win with them.
I don't think you can win with Aaron Rodgers as your
for the personal reasons.
No, just like even on the field. Like I don't think at this point in his career you can win with him. I don't think Aaron Rodgers wants to get hit anymore. I don't think he wants to stand in there. I think like the arm talent is still really good, and like there's still times where you can make the throw. The consistency just isn't there.
Yeah, it was a disaster last year. In large part, I think just like he just like bitched Nathaniel Hackett out of his job and like said, "I'm gonna do this," and like the offense fell apart. He wasn't listening to his offensive coordinator, and he played a lot of Aaron Rodgers ball. You know, he wants to throw his screens, read the line of scrimmage, throw his quick passes, take his deep shots, kind of like Russell Wilson at this point. And the touch is still a lot better. But to me, the swing factor is, do you feel like he's going to have the personality side in the locker room to buy into Arthur Smith's offense?
Dude, that's outrageous.
Arthur Smith is going to want to run the ball, get into play action, and make Aaron Rodgers turn his back, something that he didn't want to do under Matt LaFleur. It caused a lot of issues. He's going to have to fully buy into a new system, and they're not going to play just Aaron Rodgers ball. They don't have the personnel for that. They don't have the desire to be that way. He doesn't have the clout to make them play that way because it's a one-year deal. It really comes down to me is how much do you want to buy into him as a person? Because he has the ability still. But do you think he wants to do what it takes?
You're making me want to put him in F.
We're mentioning character. We haven't talked once about anyone's personality or anything like that. And he is like the face of every single conversation on the internet when it comes to how do you want to rank or judge Aaron Rodgers. It's other than age, obviously, and injury history. It's just straight up character.
Yeah, it makes you want to. We're having character conversations about a 40-year-old.
Yeah.
But I mean, listen, I think he'll be solid. Like I do think he'll be good. I think if they do play Aaron Rodgers in football, I think he can dump it off to Johnny Smith and Calvin Austin in space and do his normal things, identifying the right zone coverages and attacking the line of scrimmage. I think him and DK Metcalf should have a good connection on the deep balls. Aaron Rodgers can still have good placement there. DK Metcalf wants to run straight every time. I think they'll connect. I think they'll have a solid running game if Caleb Johnson is who we think he is.
So what's his best case scenario in this tier list?
See?
Damn.
Well, maybe he captures some kind of crazy like lightning in a bottle last year and gets to you say he's the 10th best quarterback next year. Yeah. That's possible. Yeah. I don't necessarily buy it under Arthur Smith that you're going to have enough synergy. Yeah. But I think he could be back a C. But if you want to go D, that's fine.
I think highest we'll go D.
Okay, if you want to go, we're not going F. We're not
D
going fucking
sounds
F.
good.
D sounds good. We're going highest.
We can go D off of like the personality things are a big hindrance.
I understand. I can with all the things you explained and how he's just entering a system that just isn't what he desires to do, and hearing about all the drama that happened last year, there could be very much in a world where F is a real life scenario, but also like he's not complete ass.
I'll be shocked if it's F.
Yeah. So I think D's fair.
I talked about Richardson getting people fired. Aaron Rodgers can very well do the same thing.
I think he'll get himself fired. He's a one-year deal. I think he'll get himself fired.
Fire yourself over.
He's getting himself fucking shipped off the retirement home.
1-year deal getting you fired? That's crazy.
Saying.
And speaking of F, I put Joe Flacco for the Browns quarterback because who knows who's going to win that goddamn job.
You know exactly who's going to win it.
Yeah, whoever wins it is going to F tier. I mean, I guess Shador or Dylan Gabriel, they're unknowns. Maybe they could surprise us. But whether it's Kenny Pickett or Joe Flacco, we're just going to put them in F and keep them moving.
Let me put the Cartier on the wristwatch. You already know what time it is.
Next thing we're going to do, before we finish off this tier list and get to the NFC teams, we're going to take a break to have another fun segment. I'm going to show you 2 NFL helmets. You got to tell me which one is better.
Okay.
This is a big topic on NFL Twitter. A couple weeks ago, there was a big tournament where someone did polls to have a bracket of who has the best helmet in the NFL. So, straight aesthetics today. You tell me which one looks better.
Let's go.
This is our first time diving into NFL swagger.
Yep, NFL swag.
Let's do it.
Chargers versus Rams.
See, this is a one uniform thing that the Chargers don't win. Because I actually like the Rams helmet. That's actually nice. I'm going with the Rams.
I like the Rams too, but I mean, listen, the Chargers, the color scheme is obviously amazing. The lightning bolt is the one thing I have in this life, the aesthetics.
If they took the number off the side of it, I actually would like it a lot better.
Yeah, exactly. Having a whole big ass Ram right next to your ears, bro, hits differently. I think the number does ruin it. It does ruin it so much for me.
It's very collegiate. Grow up.
Is there a bolt on both sides?
Protein.
There's a bolt on both sides. Everything's like reflected like that.
Yeah, nah.
I lost.
Ha. But yeah, I do think that the Rams is better.
If I don't have aesthetics, I don't have anything.
Obviously, I like the colors of the Rams.
That's really all you have as a Chargers fan.
Or the Chargers.
I have aesthetics. I have jerseys and I have logos and I have helmets.
No wins.
Congratulations for putting that shit on.
You don't even have a fan base. That's crazy. They don't be showing up to games.
I don't even have friends to talk about the team with. They don't exist.
Crazy.
Bengals versus Browns.
This is the Bengals. Easy.
Browns getting no swagger points ever. You're the Browns and your helmet is orange.
And it's a disgusting color combination too.
Yeah, it's not great. Brown and orange has never been good. You got to stick with it because of history. But
yeah,
I mean, it's almost like endearing that it's just orange. It's almost like classic in that way just because it's so like different. But it's not like good.
But it's like the history doesn't make sense either because they were the Browns before this and the helmets were still like this. So why is it orange? Why is it orange? They make no decisions that actually make sense.
I will say a brown helmet wouldn't look particularly good. I don't know if I want to see a full brown helmet. So
what are they supposed to do, man? It sounds like they cooked.
Oh, yeah, they cooked.
You call the Browns, but your fans are called dog pounds. But then you put an elephant in the middle of the field. Like, what are you?
Identity crisis.
What are you guys on? What are you guys doing?
And the Bengals helmet is strong. I like tiger stripes in basically every facet. I almost wish they were called the Tigers instead of Bengals, but I like it.
Nah. Listen, you're broke, but your fit's nice.
yeah, you get that shit
Shut
on.
up.
Okay. The Eagles or the Cowboys?
Ooh.
I hate you for this. I hate you for this. Because in terms of swagger, I can't lie. The star is nice.
Wow.
Did you just say you got to give it to the Cowboys?
The star, I have been socialized to think that the star is a very popular logo, and it is nice.
This must be AI. He must be cloned. This got to be fake.
I've never heard him say anything
However,
good.
Just these wings are very menacing, and we will kill you in any situation. I'm taking the Eagles.
They're both two very strong helmets.
Yeah.
I like the white face mask that the Cowboys want a lot now. The white face mask does it for me. The all white, I'm going Cowboys.
Yeah, I think I'm going Cowboys too. The Eagles could have had it. I just don't know if I'm the biggest fan. The wings should be bigger, honestly. The wings should be bigger.
Now picture this. Eagles helmet, blacked out visor. It wins easily there.
You need to add accessories, or we're just talking about
now
baseline.
you're trying to add PEDs to this.
Exactly.
I'm just saying.
Like, you add visors to any helmet's going to be
Because we already
fire.
gave you a picture that has a visor, the other one doesn't, and you're trying to ask for more. This is the problem with Eagles fans. They're so fucking greedy. They want everything. Unbelievable.
Now you want to talk about you have a top 10. Get out of here.
Now you want a top 5 QB, a top 2 helmet. What do you want next?
Come on now.
Hey, man. I deserve it all. I deserve it all.
Okay, we're going Cowboys.
Cowboys easy.
All they have is good aesthetics right now. We'll give it to them.
Bums.
Yeah. Patriots or Dolphins?
The Patriots is so ass.
You think it's ass?
So ass.
What? I like
it
the
might
red
be
face mask
one
a
of
lot.
the worst.
One of the worst? I don't mind it. I like the silver helmet with the red face mask works for me.
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
One
The
of the worst
logo is
maybe,
give or
but-
take, but I like the face mask and helmet combination.
I feel like the Dolphins, that color combo, it's so unique and it is a really cool. They should have number one in everything. This one, it's just not doing anything for me.
yeah,
Really?
their colors are better than their logo is.
Yeah.
And
I'll go with the Patriots.
Wow.
eat shit.
Okay. What if the Miami Dolphins had an orange face mask?
I don't know if orange face mask might be
It's
a bit
too much.
Yeah, it's a bit too much. That's
Oh,
collegiate
settle
right
down,
there.
settle down.
my
That's
gosh.
some XFL shit.
I got Miami. XFL.
The Buccaneers or the Raiders?
Ooh.
The two Pirates.
Woo. I'm going with the Raiders.
Really?
I think the Raiders, they're so simple. In every sport, there's a team that wears black and white or black and silver, whatever.
Yeah.
You're going to be at the top of the list on a lot
Yeah.
of things. I'm going with the Raiders here.
Dude, the Bucks feel like when I see that helmet, I just think of Hot Wheels. This feels a little childish.
Yeah, I guess the flag is a little more childish. And yeah, the Raiders have the best black branding in probably American sports. Of all the teams that wear black in that way,
Yeah.
you mentioned it, the Raiders are probably the coolest one.
They do.
They
yeah,
did the
I'm
best.
gonna give
I don't even know who the close second is.
You can get
White Sox?
You can get, yeah, I was gonna say you can get a pinstripe White Sox jersey
Okay.
that might look nice, but you're being a pinstripe merchant. I'm going with the Raiders here.
Okay, fair enough. The Jaguars or the Seahawks?
Stop it.
This is
The Jaguars
interesting.
don't do anything successful. Give me the Seahawks.
This
Yeah,
is the most uncreative helmet I've seen so far.
The Jaguars?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Seahawks wipe. This one's pretty easy. They have a little pattern going up the middle, the little like mesh. What's it called?
Carbon fiber?
The carbon fiber stripe up the middle. I like that. I like the like matteness they have to the navy blue. Seahawks have a good logo. Sweep.
In terms of menacing logos, the Seahawks do have a top 5.
That's a
menacing
bird
logo.
waiting to fuck up your day.
Yeah.
And they just got it looks like that logo of the Jaguar just looks so cheap, bro. It looks like a sticker that just slapped off and put it
Well,
on
there's
the
a common
helmet.
theme here. There's many things about the Jaguars look,
Exactly.
feel, perform cheaply.
Welcome to Jaguars fandom.
History of the league, history of the
Yes.
team can be boiled down to cheap.
The
Brokies.
Seahawks easily.
Jets versus Giants. Battle in New York. They both got this glossy helmet. The new Jets one is very strong. The white face masks.
I just don't like that color of blue, I think.
Yeah, I think the Jets.
What do you mean that is blue?
It's just
It is
default
blue. But I just don't like that color of blue, though.
No, I see what you're getting at. The glossiness with that shade of like royal blue isn't the most. Yeah, it's a little too like crayon.
Yeah.
A little too default.
It could have been like matted a little bit. I don't know. It's just too much. It's too much.
I think the Jets stomp this one. I love the Jets new helmets.
The new logo does make for a good helmet.
Yeah. And the white face mask with that shiny green, it works. I don't even like glossy colors. I'm not even a glossy helmet type of guy usually, but with the green, it works.
Yeah.
All right, I'll go with the Jets. So I'm just trying helmets on. You know?
Ravens versus Falcons.
Mm.
The Ravens is legendary, but the Falcons do have good branding. That the way the bird fits on the helmet, the verticalness of the logo on the helmet works.
The placement is perfect.
It is nice, but the Raven is more menacing than the Falcon. I'm gonna go with the Ravens.
You're defaulting to more menacing
No,
logos
I'm just saying if we're going battle of the birds, everything's kind of even. You have to have.
You said 1v1 Hell in a Cell. Which man is coming out that phone booth?
Would you rather take 50 Ravens or 50 Falcons?
I don't know.
I'm taking 50 Falcons.
Hey,
I'm lying. I'm lying.
Hey, yo.
He said, "Give me 50 Falcons
Relax.
locked up in the same room with me. See what happens.
Round on round on round
See
of
what happens.
Falcons. I'm taking waves of Falcons.
I'm handling them all."
I'm not.
I do like the silver face mask on the Falcons helmet with the mat. I like that a lot. But I don't know. The Ravens, I just can't help but picture the jersey with it. And the Ravens are just like legendary levels of intimidating.
Yeah. When it comes to helmet alone, I think I'm going with the Falcons.
I told
the
you.
matte black does it for me.
Intimidating.
It is. It's just the Ravens.
You know why?
I know Derrick Henry is wearing that helmet.
You guys are looking dead into the Ravens' eyes. You see that red and it's scaring you. It's intimidating you.
Correct.
Bitch made.
Fair enough. The Vikings or the Packers? We're going with the cheeseheads or this like purple with the like horn from a Viking?
It's classic.
Yeah, the Vikings, honestly, it could be a little bit better. If that horn was more like
Pointed up.
right? And it actually felt like a horn, maybe, but it's just like the horn on the side. That Packer one also is very iconic.
It's very iconic.
It's iconic.
You're fighting an uphill battle going up against the Packers and their branding.
It's unique. Like they leaned into the bright color that most teams don't want to lean into. It's unique. It works. Iconic, like you said. It's not even like good. It's just iconic. Like I got to give it to them off of like vibes.
Yeah, I do think the Vikings have probably a top 10 helmet in the league, but it's so hard. You don't think so?
Top 10? Nah.
Yeah, I think you're top 15.
It is a good helmet. It is.
It's a really good helmet.
It's certainly top 15, top half of the league, but I don't know. It is a good helmet. So I could be swayed to Vikings, but I'll go Packers for Aura.
It's just so hard to beat the Packers.
Shout out history. Chiefs or Broncos?
Ooh.
Might lean towards the Broncos.
Yeah, if this was like 1960, I might go with the Chiefs.
1960? What do you mean?
The way that this red sits, and maybe it's just this specific helmet that it has, but that looks like a very
looks like
old
a bowling
helmet.
ball.
It's a weird helmet, but this Broncos one is nice.
You're begging for your brain to be mush, bro, if you wear that Chiefs helmet.
Okay, we're getting blinded by this cut of this weird modern ass helmet.
I'm sorry.
I'm going with the Broncos.
I'm just grading what I see on the
If
screen.
you guys are consistent, you guys are feeling intimidated by that horse. Are you not? It has red eyes.
I
as
do.
well.
I don't love the navy blue helmet. I think the white face mask with the candy red is strong. I'm a big face mask guy, in case you can't tell. I think the face mask is like a big important part. You guys are overlooking it. The color clashing of the face mask.
You can look at face map, but we can't look at helmet like shape.
Well, yeah, because I mean that is like inconsistent because everybody has different helmets. So I'm trying not to hold that against it because that's like everybody wears a different one on the field. Everybody got a white face mask.
I don't care. I'm going with the Broncos here.
I like the color. I like the complementary color of the white face mask.
Okay.
But the Broncos do have a better logo.
Yeah.
But I don't know. The navy blue helmet doesn't do much for me. I feel like it's kind of bland, at least with the orange as a complementary color.
Yeah.
I just think Kansas City, like a lot of these teams, the reason why they have a strong helmet is because their logo fits so well on it. And for the Kansas City Chiefs, they're handicapped.
Yeah, it's the logos that like kind of like have the curvature to them that really work, and the Chiefs don't have that. Okay, that's a good reason to go Broncos if you guys want to do that.
This is good.
And that's the end of that. It is now time to get back to our tier list. Get back to the NFC teams here. The second half. It'll probably be faster because we took a lot of time with that because all the best quarterbacks in the league are in the AFC. Let's start with the NFC East. Let's jump straight into it where we're putting Jalen Hurts.
Put that man in A tier. Put that man in A tier.
Okay.
You have to do it.
If you put him in A tier, that also means you think he's like a top 6, 7, 8 quarterback.
What did I just
too.
say? I just said put him in A tier.
He's
right?
standing on it, man. I just tried to
Is that not what I just said?
see if he can backpedal a little
We
bit
have
and
to
just
do
stood
it.
even stronger.
Okay, so you know the weaknesses of Jalen Hurts, and you know why people will say he's not a
Understand.
top 5 or 6. We'll use Herbert as the bar there, right? You know why a lot of people will put him.
I'll put Hurts behind. I'm not going to put him at
For
the
sure,
top
for sure.
A tier.
But even aside that, I can be swayed to either top of or B or bottom of A if we just want to give him credit for performing when it matters most. But you are well aware of the weaknesses of of Jalen Hurts.
Mhm.
You know he is not good under pressure. He bails out of the pockets. He has a substantially higher completion percentage in clean pockets. Everyone does, but his is substantial the difference there. You understand he's in the best scenario you could possibly imagine. Top 3 offensive line, top 3 weapon room, maybe top 1 when you talk about running backs plus wide receivers.
Mhm.
You understand that. You know he is good at throwing deep balls, does not work the middle of the field whatsoever. He is a guy who needs a good scenario, but clearly can get it done if the right scenario is there. He played at his best in 2 Super Bowls. But you're well aware of the weaknesses that if that perfect scenario is gone, you're well aware that he will not be performing at the same level across various circumstances as, say, Justin Herbert. Why does he still deserve to be A tier?
Let me sit up.
Yeah, go for it. I had to tee it up first. I'll throw it to you. You know the arguments I'll say.
Thank you.
Why do you think none of that shit matters?
Okay, so one, I do think that we have seen, even though that those are the weaknesses, I do think that we have seen improvement from Hurts every single season. And like going into 22, him improving, he was always a great deep ball thrower, but being as great as he was in 22 was a massive improvement. Then in 23, it was, okay, he can't handle the blitz. The Eagles did start to find more answers to the blitz in 24 than they did in 23. And so you did see a little bit more of improvement for that. There was a stretch where it was like, I can't remember the specific amount of games, but there was a stretch where Jalen Hurts was turning the ball over every single week. Whether if it was a fumble or an interception, he was turning the ball over like crazy. After week 3, Jalen Hurts had 2 interceptions for the rest of the season, including the playoffs. He had an interception against Dallas in like week 9, and then he had an interception in the Super Bowl. Outside of that, was playing very, very turnover-free and interception-free football. So I do think he's improved on that. As a runner, I think that is where one of the biggest arguments for him being A tier, that it comes from there.
Yes.
Because even before they went and got Saquon, like you get Saquon and you put him behind that line, obviously 2K, amazing. Last year, they had DeAndre Swift as a running back, and the run game still was as decent, even with bad play design.
Well,
even that.
I'm just saying that's an offensive line stat.
Yeah.
To be fair,
not 100%.
Sure, not 100%, but it helps to have such a monstrous offensive line.
It does, but it also helps the entire offense when it's based around, do we have a quarterback that can run and we're able to run
for sure
RPOs and read options and all these other things to get people involved and simplify the offense for everybody. So I think that helps with Jalen Hurts. And then obviously it's just like it's the big game stuff. You want to know, can you win with them? Obviously you can win with Jalen Hurts. So I think that like minimum, if you are the lowest on him, the actual proof is that he's C, right?
Yeah, and I wouldn't go that far. So we don't even got to acknowledge that. He's not C.
But then in the playoff games in 22, he was fantastic. In the Super Bowl, they kind of ran through everybody in the first 2 games. Like they played the Giants in the second round, ran all over them, and then Brock Purdy got hurt in the first minute of the game, so they didn't really do anything in the championship game. So the numbers haven't been as gaudy, but I also think that with other quarterbacks, when other quarterbacks have days where they're 10 of 18, 126 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, everyone's like, look at them, right? They just learned how to play quarterback. They just did what the team asked them to do. And Jalen Hurts does that very consistently. And the times this year where he has been challenged, week 10 against, I think it was week 10 against the Steelers, goes out, throws for like 300 yards. NFC Championship game, dominates the Commanders, Super Bowl. All week or all 2 weeks, what was the narrative? If the Eagles are going to win, the Chiefs are going to make Jalen Hurts beat him as a passer. And Steve Spagnuolo tested his gangster, and Jalen Hurts said, okay, I'm going to do it. And so I think the fact that he does play well in big situations, that his running ability allows the offense to be so diverse, I do think that he elevates that team to a team that has been to the Super Bowl twice in 3 years, and they were 10-1 before. 23, I honestly think is, and I'm rambling a little bit here.
Go for it.
23 and pre-collapse, I do think is very underrated in a sense because they were never going to win the Super Bowl because they were just winning all the games in a very like unsustainable way because the defense wasn't that great. But if you look at where he was throughout those first 10 games going in, especially after the Buffalo game, Jalen Hurts came up clutch plenty of times. He was on pace for 4,000 yards. He was on pace for a lot of touchdowns. The turnovers were still a question, but you saw him be able to carry this team that couldn't really find their way in the midst of him hating his head coach because Sirianni was being a jackass. In the midst of we're gonna have an offensive coordinator who wants to be Shane Steichen but isn't as good as Shane Steichen. So we're gonna have a much more simplified and dummy version of what Steichen was running. So throughout all of the OC changes, the head coach turmoil, and the defense being absolute trash. There's a reason why they went and got Vic Fangio and spent all those top picks on the defense because it was awful. And then as soon as that gets fixed, what do? Yeah, we're just going to go win the Super Bowl. So I think that in terms of everything that he allows the Eagles to do, he should be an A.
Okay. I think you made a very good, very great argument for why he's the 8th best quarterback in the league. Mm-hmm. And I think that's like, that's not even like a joke. That's like, because before he was not considered that before this year, right? Nobody was putting him in top 10 combos at all. Like people were like, that's like, I don't know, 16, whatever. Like he's good enough. We've seen you able to succeed with him. But it was like, he's a better version of Bo Nix. It was a similar conversation when he was young in terms of the type of player he is. Yeah. And to me, you just explained exactly why he's the best version of Bo Nix and why that is similar to CJ Stroud, like the 8th best quarterback in the league. I think you explained exactly why you said they won when they finally got the good defense. Correct. If you have a great defense, you have a great line, you have great weapons, and you can get his strengths out of him, you can win with him. That to me is, you can say that's better than you can win with him because it's the best version of that. So that's like a top 10 guy. A says elite and elevates teams. I don't think there's really an argument there for why he elevates teams. The running ability is like strong. It's not a fake ability, but I think, so I guess this is a question. To me, when you're evaluating these quarterbacks, you have to do a little bit of the if-man stuff, right? You have to think hypothetically. Otherwise, you're just looking at outcomes, and that's not interesting. Otherwise, Joe Flacco, when he won the Super Bowl, would be a top 5 quarterback, and nobody fucking said that. I feel similarly here, that you have to look at, one, what it looks like when they're in the best case scenario, which I think is fair to say Jalen Hurts was in his best case scenario last year. Not his fault, but it was like the best case scenario for his archetype of player. And think through what you think how his skills will translate when it's a medium case scenario, worst case scenario, across what other people have, and like truly think about his ability to elevate when things aren't going perfectly. And I just don't think there's an argument that he has the abilities in the pocket, that he can stand in pockets without fleeing because of the pressure, that he can attack the middle of the field, make the intermediate reads, read the line of scrimmage, and attack the zones in a short game. I don't think that there's an argument that he does that to the same degree where as the years go on, eventually this team will deteriorate and you'll see them retool as time goes on. I think you will almost certainly see up and downs for Jalen Hurts.
So I guess a good follow-up question is, if you were to take Jalen Hurts and put him in, I don't know, a team like the Cincinnati Bengals, where of course like there's a lot of things not going Joe Burrow's way, how would he prevail? Do you see a sense in where he could elevate the team in different ways?
Poorly. It'll go poorly. But to be fair, on the other end, well, that is the case.
The Bengals is the wrong situation just to drop him because they do have Jamar and T. Higgins. It's a weird thing where where you have that and then Chase Brown is solid. So like if you put him on the Bengals, they probably still get to like 10 wins.
Maybe, but he'd be running for his life a little bit behind that line in recent years. But I want to say, like, he would do poorly in a lot of these scenarios. Like, if you put him in Justin Herbert's situation, he'd do poorly. But I don't want to go too far into that because there is something to be said that, like, yeah, every quarterback has to be built around their specific skill sets. So I'm not going to say if you put him in quarterback X's skill set, would he do bad? He is a very unique player. So, yeah, you have to play around his play style. Duh. So maybe to me, that's why he's not S or A. But I'm not going to be like, he's a bum. If he wasn't around the best offense in the league and the best defense, he wouldn't even be Baker Mayfield. Like, some people are more dramatic with it. And I do respect the ability to just have a unique skill set and you have to be optimized a certain way, which to me is why he's like top of B.
Yeah. And I like Burrow kind of gets the S because we were talking about, he's not obviously as talented as the top 3 guys, but his ability to maximize his own production or whatever to get it to the top, that kind of elevates him there. I do feel like it's the same with Jalen, where he has maximized a lot of what has been around him. And the 2 times where you can look at him since he's been like for real starter, the 2 times have been where the team has been there you made it to the Super Bowl. Like you've gotten there, and you were a holding call away from being a 2-time Super Bowl like champion and MVP and all of that. Like I do think that since he has now entered his prime, and as obviously he's not perfect and he's still growing and all of that stuff, but I do think that there is a level of you've actually done it. Like the if man stuff. And this is part of the reason why I picked Burrow over Herbert is because everyone's like, oh well, if you gave and you agree with this, like if you gave Herbert Burrow's weapons, he would be crazy. And it's like, great, Burrow has that, and he is doing what you think Herbert would do, right? Like he is maximizing it. It's kind of the same with Hurts, where if every quarterback had that, you're like, oh, they're gonna win the Super Bowl. You have that, and so.
Yeah, I don't know.
And if you gave all of these other quarterbacks, the only other one that you could look at and say he does have that is Lamar in terms of giving other quarterbacks a running back as dynamic as Saquon. And the Ravens are very, very like, hey, we're just going to run the ball and it's going to be fine. If you had a running back like that, if every team could run the ball, regardless of who your quarterback is, if every team could run the ball and get 5 yards a carry, they would not throw the ball.
Yeah, I'm not going to use that. I don't think the Burrow thing, I get your point. We give Burrow that saying you still do it. And even though he had the weapons, so we don't got to the hypothetical thing, because he also has insane production and like measuring like his abilities. It's insane. Hurts doesn't have that. So I'm not going to act like he's lighting it up he's winning because the team is so good, but it's not like he's dominating MVP level player. So it's not exactly the same as that comparison. I'm not going to go that far. I don't know. I think it's pretty clearly top of B tier.
Listen, top of B tier.
What? Or I'd rather have Stroud. Long term, would you rather have Stroud? Okay. Next year, would you rather have Stroud or Jalen Hurts?
I'd rather have Hurts next year.
Okay, looking at actual on the field skill sets and abilities, what do you guys set him apart from everyone else? In my mind, immediately, the one thing I will say is I feel like it's not talked about nearly enough is the deep ball, and it feels really strong.
It's talked about. That's all he does. That's talked about a lot. That's all he does well. That's all he does well.
Okay.
But it's never talked about enough when it comes to,
again, you're right.
Putting him in these.
Listen, there's not enough praise. There's not enough praise.
Trust me, it's talked about. Trust me, it's talked about.
There's not enough praise for it. If you're gonna make this decision, because obviously, like I'm gonna be A, he's gonna be B. If you're gonna be the deciding factor, do take this into account that he did have a purpose before everybody else had an opinion, right? Like he does just control what he can control. So I think because of that, he should be an A.
He's saying, keep in mind he drops bars.
Oh my god.
He's saying. So like, okay, so
rain, sleet, or snow, the Eagles are trained to go, right? Like
objectively, there's no argument for A in terms of abilities, but people, if you're rewarding winning and rewarding, just getting it done and paying attention to like the outcome, you can give him A for the summer, and like that would be the argument.
That's also true. That's also my rule. If you win, hey, you get the summer.
You get whatever.
But
you want.
There's no argument in terms of just abilities across multiple scenarios for him to be A. But the outcome is there, and a lot of people gauge the outcome more than I do, which to each their own. I gauge sample size, your abilities, what it would be like when you're doing the thought experiments. That to me matters a lot more. But not everybody's like that, as you see by Justin Herbert discourse.
Is 2 playoff runs not enough?
What do you mean by that? I'm saying that I'm not going to decide just on like he won the Super Bowl, because it's a contextual sport, it's a team sport that I'm going to gauge his abilities. And he performed well. I'm not holding it against him or anything, but I'm not going to push him off that much because of team success.
Yeah, he's not like in S tier, but like
sure. But I also think A is doing a lot. Like I don't think he's the 5th best quarterback in the league, or to put him there. I don't think there's an argument for him to be the 5th best.
No, he wouldn't be the 5th best. I mean, because you have those 4 and then Herbert. That's
I don't think
5,
he's the 6th best.
And then you be there.
I don't think he's the 6th best. I don't think he's the 7th best.
Honestly,
I think
you would take Geno over him.
I think no. I because of like getting it done, I'll put him right above Geno. That's why I have him 10th. I think I'll put Hurts at like 8 or 9. Him and Stroud is the debate for me.
I got caught up. I'm taking Stroud.
Yeah.
It sounds like B.
Okay, we'll put him right between them then.
But also, we can't move Stroud up to A.
Oh my gosh.
So we can't do that.
That's hilarious. We can't do that because who we got to put A tier? The next quarterback in this division. We spent your time on getting the Hurts thing.
We're not doing that.
Jaden Daniels is A tier.
We are not doing that.
Jaden Daniels is better than Hurts.
We're not doing that.
So here's the thing. So we're doing the projection with the other guys.
Yeah.
I'll tell you first. Jaden Daniels played at the level of being a top 10 quarterback last year, and I have zero reason to believe it's not going to be maintained. I fully buy his abilities. I fully buy him being unstoppable to blitz. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL passing against pressure. His ability to know when to run against pressure. You cannot blitz Jaden Daniels. He is impossible to blitz. I fully believe that his accuracy is real. His IQ in the pocket, outside the pocket is real. I think if you're going to say that Justin Herbert isn't the 5th best quarterback in the league, it's because you're saying Jaden Daniels is. I think he has that type of already proven rookie season, and I do believe his ability to continue to get better there. I think he's A tier.
I think 6 is a lot, and I think that if for
7, you don't put Stafford, but I think he's in that range. Or will be, assuming projection, because it's a second-year player.
Fair, but if you're gonna hold like context for Hurts, I also think that you have to do a little bit of that for Daniels, where like the Cliff Kingsbury offense had a lot of training wheels, especially early on in the season, and then shout out to I think this season was more of a like, oh wow, Cliff Kingsbury can actually be competent throughout 4 months of the year instead of just 2. And even throughout the second half of the year, like some of Daniels' metrics, like they weren't as great as what they were in the first half of the year. And so when you look at what we expect from Daniels last year, like is he gonna fall off a cliff? Obviously not. Like he did do a lot of great things, but I am very interested to see can a Cliff Kingsbury offense work again? And if it doesn't, are Cliff and Jaden both equipped and able to adjust on the fly and start playing like real football? That's one of the bigger questions for me about Jaden Daniels. There's a slight injury thing about it because he was hurt during the middle of the season. He got touched up in his ribs, which is weird. I think that I would still take Stroud over Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, I think there's a baked in like fear of a sophomore slump that you've only done it once. So if you want to say like you had to see it twice, I understand that in principle out of like fear. But if we're projecting what we think, like I do think last year was real. You're right. There is training wheels. There is the Cliff Kingsbury offense. There is the ability baked in for him to attack in the short game with RPOs and stuff. His flaw right now is he's not the most creative and poised in the pocket. If you can get to him with a 4-man rush and make him beat you as a drop back passer, he's not the best of the best. He's not horrible, but he's not amazing. But he is so goddamn gifted at escaping the pocket and as a rusher and improvising as a passer.
When it comes to that trait, where do you rank him?
Besides the top tier guys, he's the best. Outside of Lamar and Josh Allen and Mahomes, he's the best at that. At escaping the pocket with his legs and finishing throws. And because he's so amazing at when he's in the pocket at replacing the blitz, he's amazing at identifying where the blitz is coming from, attacking that area, knowing when to attack deep. Him and Terry McLaurin had a fantastic connection the second half of the year. Similar to Jalen Hurts, he's amazing at the deep ball and knowing when to attack it. That was their day one. And I think he's a better over the middle of the field passer, especially against the blitz, like I said. I think he presents matchup nightmares that you have to game plan for. There is inconsistencies, like I said, when he isn't blitzed and he has to attack in a clean pocket. There is inconsistencies there that prevent him from being like tier one. But I think just you were mentioning with Jalen Hurts, the legs and how he makes you have to deal with those problems. Jaden Daniels is the same way in another level. Like you have headaches game planning against him that I think make it to where he elevates his teams because you have to do so much to cancel out his abilities.
I do think that we have to see at least another year before he can get into A. If you want to, again, I do not agree with you. However, if you want to put him at the top of B tier, again, I still don't agree with you.
Damn.
but for the sake of like the tier list, I can understand the argument. I just don't agree.
Yeah, and I know Eagles fans are very invested in the Daniels versus Hurts debate. It's like the top of their mind.
It's not aside from that. I just don't think he's better than Stroud right now.
He was better than Stroud last year. So if you believe in a bounce back for Stroud, I get it because he's rookie year. But even then, Jaden Daniels' rookie year was like better than
that's the better comparison.
You want to say Jaden McDaniels so bad?
Yeah.
Jaden Daniels' rookie year was even better than Stroud's rookie year. So like even if you want to believe that Stroud will bounce back, Jaden Daniels was on that level at least as a rookie, and we haven't seen the drop off. I struggle with the logical thing there of like I do have to see the second year, but I think people are like too easy to assume a sophomore slump just because we saw it before. Whereas like I don't know, maybe he's just good. Maybe things won't fall apart. I don't know.
If you're projecting, one thing about Isaac that I know is like the second you see a young player, regardless of what sport it is, and you see certain redeeming qualities that just scream special and just like they can own a specific metric or side of the court or field or whatever sport we're talking about, you sell super hard and high on it. And if I'm a head coach or defensive coordinator, I would rather game plan against someone like Jalen Hurts and maybe someone like CJ Stroud compared to Jaden McDaniels, because he just
Jaden
Daniels because he just feels like there's certain things about his game, whether it's escape or the deep ball, whatever it is, that sounds like nightmarish.
It is.
So
nightmarish.
I can understand why you'd want to put him in.
Yeah, and when like,
and at this point, I think the gap in your conversation is just
prove it again.
how. Yeah, exactly. How much can you prove it next
Would
year?
you have put Stroud in A tier if you did this a year ago after his rookie year? You probably would have, right? You'd have and
Maybe.
now you feel. I bet seeing the Stroud bounce drop off, you're like, okay, I don't want to get burned again. So like maybe there's a reluctance there, but I feel like last year we probably put away Stroud in A tier.
Maybe, but it's also like, I don't know. I think I was also a little bit wary of the sophomore slump with Stroud too, just because I am kind of wary of when good quarterbacks get drafted to bad situations, and then we're like, okay, like they're obviously good, but it's going to take some time, and then the first year goes, and then they blow up, and it's like, oh my gosh, and you just haven't fixed a lot of the issues. Like Washington still has some of the same issues that it had last year, and so do I think that you were able to come in and take the league by storm? Yes, but is it very, very possible that those same issues weren't completely fixed just because you showed up? Yeah, like if you show up and everything is completely fixed, you're one of the 10 best quarterbacks of all time. I don't think Daniels is.
I did that. Yeah.
But you were like,
well, before I said I did it before you said top 10 all time.
Yeah,
I didn't think you're going there.
Yeah, but like I think Stroud did that and was able to mask a lot of stuff. But now you have an offseason, everybody gets tape, whatever, go back to the drawing board, all that. And now that kind of settles down. It's probably going to be the same thing for Jaden Daniels.
I think
it's very, very. The only time that I can remember, honestly, was with Herbert, where his sophomore season was like, oh my goodness, like that's crazy. But outside of that, everybody else kind of like regresses just a little bit.
And you know what? The most impressive rookie season since Herbert is Jaden Daniels. Like, I think he's just on that level. I think the big go in the lab and figure out Jaden Daniels thing will be we got to be able to get him with the 4-man pressure and not send pressure against him, not blitz, because he's amazing at replacing the blitz. Duh. Easier said than done. Like, of course, if you get after him with a 4-man blitz, you'll be able to slow him down. No fucking shit. Easier said than done. So I think he's accurate. He has good instincts, going deep, replacing blitzes, amazing with his legs. That's not going anywhere. I don't see a reason to assume a sophomore slump other than being scared of being burned. So to me, it feels like it would be just like conservative and logically consistent.
The Cliff thing doesn't worry you at all when that's been kind of proven out for like a majority of his career?
I think Jaden Daniels is a much better quarterback than Kyler Murray.
I think he belongs in the top of A tier, personally.
You mean bottom of A tier?
Yeah. Oh, my bad. Top of B tier.
Oh.
Yeah. Top of B tier for sure. Because although like all signs scream towards, like how you explained to me, scream towards him just straight up dominating the second year, there's certain things in his game that if he was to continue at this pace, like all things aside, all X factors and swing factors aside, in your mind, and was the same exact player, no projection at all,
A tier.
He would be A tier.
Yeah. If we don't put him in A tier, I don't see the purpose of A tier. If B is top 10 level and A is you elevate guys around you and you make your team incredibly hard to scheme against, to me that screams Jaden Daniels. I feel like that's the exact difference between A and B.
Okay, that was a great question and that was a great answer. So if you genuinely feel that way, cool. I'm okay with A tier.
But I don't know, whatever you think, because you're the deciding factor here. I don't want to railroad it, but
that was. I just didn't want too much projection to be sold on you.
No, I think it's
him as a fine product as is, like no other growth in his game. A tier is fine.
Well, I wouldn't say no other growth because like there's gonna be some growth. He is a rookie, but yeah, I'm not doing a lot of mental gymnastics. I don't think.
Okay.
I'm just not assuming for back tread where a lot of people are scared of back tread.
Yeah.
And I'm just like not scared of it. It's possible. I'm not saying it's a guarantee. Like he very well could be B tier next year. It could be a Stroud situation, but I just don't want to assume that just because we saw it with Stroud.
The injury stuff was interesting. I'm happy you brought up that talking point too. When I was watching footage of him a couple of weeks ago, it did seem like he was a little reckless and took a little bit more risk than he should have said more earlier. So,
what do you think? Are you willing to concede bottom of A? Is that acceptable in any way?
Bottom of A? I mean, if you put him there, it is y'all's list and not mine.
It is y'all's list.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to. There's no longer a house called tier list.
We could put him in A tier.
I'm very excited to see what you guys do with the rest of the tier list.
Oh my god! All right, what do you? We spent so much time on some of these debates. We gotta keep moving. Dak Prescott, B, right?
C.
C.
Actually,
Damn.
Dad, what the fuck are you? What?
Wait.
I think
What?
I think you potentially can win with Dak Prescott. It has not shown itself.
Okay, I forgot you have this animosity.
He just hasn't done it. Like I think like he has
No,
to,
none of the
That
guys.
has nothing to do with.
Geno Smith hasn't
Yeah.
done it. What do you
he
mean?
has to give again. But
Mm.
Dak has. I'll give Dak credit. He did retire Tom Brady. Shout out to you. Listen, I hate you guys, but that was a great night.
You don't think Dak's on a level with Geno Smith?
I think Dak has to come back and improve it because I do think that Dak's okay. So Dak's obviously like the playoff stuff is there. I don't think that Dak his wheels are basically non-existent at this point.
Yeah.
I do think that he has to be in a very, very good situation. I don't think he's as aggressive as I would like that. I think Geno is.
You don't think Dak's whole thing is aggressive?
I don't think he's as aggressive as Geno is my thing.
Okay.
But I would weigh again the playoff production a little bit more.
Here's the thing. I don't want to like continuously like railroad it like I did with Jaden Daniels and like be like I'm very passionate. I think it would look insane if we put him next to Trevor Lawrence and Bo Nix.
Yeah, those guys are so like we're
I
on
think
the
that is-
fence about those guys.
Like I don't want to I don't want to like say we have to do anything because we don't. I think it would be outlandish to say he's closer to Bo Nix and Trevor Lawrence than he is to Geno Smith.
I think this is the first time ever in house call history where Donovan is actually just letting the hate just
Facts.
overpower everything.
I'm
This is
just
the
saying.
first- he didn't
I'm
talk
just saying.
about. He talked about a little bit when it comes to redeeming skill sets and stuff like that.
I'm just saying.
But you're just mentioning, you
Damn.
can't do the postseason and all that.
stay
bruh.
dropping.
I know. I think this is pure hate.
Yeah.
Pure Cowboys animosity.
I'm just saying.
I think you saw one. He had a rough start to last year and then got hurt, so it's tough PR wise. That situation was horrible. They can't run the ball. They have no wide receiver room outside of CD Lamb. It was a bad situation. He wasn't on the same page as CD. It was a rough start. We didn't get a chance to see him course correct because he got hurt. So I understand the bad taste in your mouth. Dak Prescott is still one of the most aggressive throwers up the seams. Great accuracy up the seams. Great aggressiveness. I can't believe aggressiveness is a thing you hold against him. In fact, he's too aggressive sometimes. It creates bonehead decisions similar to Geno Smith. I think he's Geno Smith with a strong arm, and Geno Smith is probably better at standing strong under pressure and getting the ball out fast, but Dak is more accurate attacking those seam shots and being able to do his thing. I think Dak is firmly B tier. Firmly like in that range to be in top 10 in a given year. I'd probably put him at 10 or 11, probably 11 right behind Geno because of last year. But if you tell me next year he's back up to 8, that would not be surprising.
Y'all can have that. Y'all can have that.
You
Now
really
acknowledging
want
the
to?
hate.
Okay, so
I'm
if you were to put him in C tier, we're
I
not doing that.
I take back nothing except for the aggressiveness.
Okay, fair enough.
I take back nothing.
If you think
except
he's
for
a
that.
fraud and you have that hate in your heart, I respect it.
So on your list, where would you put him in C tier? Would it be top of C tier?
Yeah, he'll be at the top.
Oh my god, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, just hate, just hate.
He'll be at the top. I mean, he's clearly better than Trevor Lawrence, but like,
Yeah, and I think he's
Okay.
clearly a tier better than Trevor Lawrence.
but like, we're getting to the end of his career. I don't know if I can win with Dak Prescott.
I don't know if you. I mean, so you won't win with Dak Prescott because they're not going to win a fucking Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But I think. But that doesn't.
Well,
He said they are not going to win.
Yeah,
the
the
Super Bowl.
Cowboys stink, so they're
Yeah.
not going to have it together. But I don't
Yeah.
think it's because of Dak Prescott. There's much bigger issues there, you know. I think if you have a team that's good
I'm
enough,
just saying.
if you have a team that's good enough to win with Geno Smith, it will be good enough to win with Dak Prescott. They are very similar caliber.
I'm just saying.
What was that? I think Dak's better than Geno.
The last time that we saw Dak Prescott rolling, right? 2 years ago, he was second in MVP voting. He had a great season. It was actually awesome. I was actually kind of scared because I was like, Dak Prescott cannot win an MVP. It would not be good for my mental health.
Yeah.
However, and then we saw that, and then the Dak Prescott, the Dallas Cowboys, the choking of it all just reared its head once again. And if you look at the numbers, you're going to see a lot of stat padding. You're going to see, they only lost by 16 points. They were getting demolished
yeah, no.
every single time. This man had multiple pick sixes at home and was down horrendously.
And by the way, Jackson Dart rookie tier.
Oh, yeah.
None of this.
Nothing
Yeah,
to
good job. I'm glad you got drafted, Jackson. Congratulations.
NFC North, Jordan Love. That sounds like a very easy B tier, right?
Why is it so easy?
He's just like very talented, but hasn't quite put it together. And I feel like he just fits right nicely next to Geno and Dak. And like he's the guy. He dealt with injury last year.
Yeah.
Dealt with lack of deep threats, and the wide receiver room is iffy. He has insane arm talent, insane ceiling. I think he struggles with taking the easy stuff. He's not a scrambler, and I think he had a bottom 5 rate of checkdowns taken. So he has some issues with taking the easy stuff and keeping it pushing. But the tantalizing, crazy talent is still there. And I think you could see him elevating. Like if you tell me he has everything comes together, if Matthew Golden's a star and he's a legit deep threat, if he's I don't know AJ Brown light from like when he was in the Titans, and like that gives him the weapons needed, and he stays healthy. If you tell me he ends next year in A tier, that's like not out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah,
but he has not been nearly consistent enough with the easy stuff and getting hurt.
Okay,
that bottom of B feels fine.
Yeah,
not even bottom is B.
Because. Yeah, I think because on top of the injury, he got diagnosed with GGS, Green Goblin Syndrome. He just can't help himself. He can't do it.
What is Green Goblin Syndrome?
Just the worst read is just calling him. He's like, I just have to throw it deep. I have to throw it 50 yards. And so I'm not sure. That is like, I guess B splits where you're talking about. On the low end, he would be C if the aggressiveness does get to him. But I guess we can go B right now, but it's not.
Because it's a balance between like situation and what we know they can do if it's better. And like I do think he had 2 of the wide receivers in the NFL with the highest drop percentage in the top 3.
That's disgusting.
It's insane. Between Wicks and Jaden Reed, they had number 1 and number 3 drop percentage in the NFL. He had no deep threats. I think obviously the injury played a big part of it. I think he deserves the benefit of the doubt because we know the talent is there. But I'm with you that like. If it went poorly this year, like we could very well look up and say we gave him too much benefit of doubt, and it's Trevor Lawrence.
Okay,
but I don't.
We'll be positive and balance out whatever Cowboys say. We'll go.
Okay, you're getting all the hate off. Next division, no, we're in this division already.
You guys.
do we just throw JJ McCarthy in the rookie division just because we haven't seen him at all?
Yeah.
Again, he has so much pressure on his shoulders. The situation is amazing. We'll see if he can do it, but I have no real read on anything regarding JJ McCarthy.
Yeah, no.
Nothing to say.
He's fine.
What do you want to do with Caleb Williams? Disaster rookie season in a lot of ways, but showed a lot of flashes that you see the talent is there. If he has a competent offensive coordinator, a competent offensive line, and he's getting Ben Johnson, which is a big swing factor because you talk about projection. You don't really got to project to assume Ben Johnson will make this offense good. He's one of the best offensive minds in the NFL, and they have a lot of talent that was clearly misutilized and clearly victim to a terrible interior offensive line and just dumbasses running the team. So it's pretty safe to assume he will be better, but to which degree?
I think we have to go see just because if we're projecting Drake May to be at C, we also have to do the same thing with Caleb Williams.
If you tell me he's watching film, I'll put him in C.
There's so much went wrong that like again, I will cop the most bail in the world for Caleb Williams. I will be the most apologist. You call me a glazer, say I'm giving make him if man V2, I'll be that. It was so fucking stupid how that team was ran last year. The ways in which they utilize their wide receivers, brain dead. I've seen Keenan Allen run so many go routes for that team. Have you seen Keenan Allen the past few years? He should not be running go routes. The way they utilize him, Roma Dunze, and DJ Moore and their talents, brain dead. The offensive line, horrible on the interior. Caleb played his part. He also was bad handling pressure and tried to do too much and led to more sacks. Easy to see how that could happen when you're in hell with no preparation and no help. You can understand why he would exasperate the issue. I think that could be fixed next year. I think the utilization will obviously be better. We've seen Jared Goff have career years playing with Ben Johnson. I feel safe to assume Caleb Williams' talents will also be pointed in the right direction with Ben Johnson. The accuracy issues he has to improve, especially deep. He has some of the worst deep accuracy in the NFL. But you also saw the flashes that he's really good attacking the middle of the field. He has the instincts, the anticipation.
Yeah.
I think the ceiling is extremely high still. I'm not out on him whatsoever. Some people were like, Jaden Daniels is clearly better. Drake May is clearly better. I don't want Caleb anymore in a redraft. I'm not doing that at all. I'm still just as high as ever was.
Yeah, the ceiling is, you're right. It is still very high. And even, I mean, they lost 10 straight games. There were a lot of those games that came down to the wire. Like they either missed a kick or like one throw went wrong, whatever. But there's a specific game. It was against the Seahawks where he's driving down and there's some throws that he made that were just insane. Where like he's on the move throwing across his body and it's just a dot and he's hitting a tight window. It's third down, again, rolling out, backing up, straight arm throw, everything, getting it to his receivers. Like he plenty of times made the ability to or had the ability to make clutch plays. And just because the Bears are the Bears, they weren't able to capitalize on them. He was putting them in more positions to win games than people realize. And so they would have been 5-2 if it wasn't for Stevenson and the Hail Mary game where he's waving at the crowd and everything. Like they had opportunities to win. And so they would have been better. I'm
not selling my stock at all. Just like Drake May, I could see them getting to B tier this year if things go well. But it was so bad last year that we can't do too much projection. So we can't go higher than C.
Yeah, I'm going to need you. right now, and even B tier, just because of how crowded B tier is, I think for them, goal is let's get to the top of C tier.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Let's get there, and then in year 3, after everything is stabilized, now we can make an actual leap. You know what your situation is going to be like, and then we can get into top 10.
You know, people are so like, we've gotten Justin Herbert, CJ Stroud, and Jaden Daniels being year 1 wonders in recent years that I feel like people like assume that's just the modern NFL. If you're great, you're going to be great right away. I'm like, there's so many times where quarterbacks need time and like develop. And in a traditional sense, Caleb Williams' rookie year was like quintessential. He's a rookie. He's kind of dumb right now. The team is bad right now. He has to get over all these things, but the flashes are fucking outrageous.
Yeah.
Like you said, those throws on the move, he threw ridiculous dimes. He had crazy anticipation. Weirdly enough, so 2 things are true. He takes too many sacks because he holds the ball too long. He's also has pretty goddamn good pocket presence. Like somehow both are true. His ability to navigate and make guys miss and to stand under pressure and throw is Herbert and Burrow-esque at times when he's not taking the sack, not doing too much. So I've seen flashes at pocket presence improving. I've seen flashes at accuracy improving. I've already seen the strengths of anticipation up the middle. I still think he'll be an elite quarterback.
How's the deep ball feel?
It's horrible right now. But we've seen the flashes. That's the main area that if he doesn't come together is because the deep accuracy never improves.
Okay. So even with the deep ball being where it's at right now, bare minimum, I think C tier does feel good for him right now.
If the deep ball never improves, the A ceiling is gone. Maybe he'll just be a B type of guy.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll be like a Jordan Love or Dak Prescott, which is still like a good quarterback. But the deep ball has to improve for him to get to A.
Yeah.
Okay.
What team am I missing in this division?
Goff.
What do you want to do with Jared Goff without Ben Johnson there anymore?
Let's put him at the top of C tier. You can win with Jared Goff. And I think that Jared Goff does a lot of things that when you are asking quarterbacks to grow, some of the harder stuff for people to do, stuff that Aaron Rodgers doesn't want to do at this point, which is turn your back to the defense, stand in there, take hits, do all that. Jared Goff does all of that. Jared Goff, he's one of the toughest quarterbacks in the league. He throws over the middle like a madman, right? And
top play action quarterback in the league.
If you look at a lot of metrics from this last year, he's at the top in terms of efficiency and all of that. And yes, you have Ben Johnson. Yes, you have a lot of great skill position players. They also play that way because they have Jared Goff, because he can do those things and is willing to do those things. So I definitely think that you can win with.
He allowed
Jared
Ben Johnson to do whatever he wanted. He wasn't held back by Jared Goff, barring mobility things that maybe he'll get in his bag with Caleb Williams. We'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's quintessential top of C tier.
And you also have to give him a little bit of credit. And we'll see how this year goes. But last year, the O-line wasn't as vaunted as what it was the year prior. And then obviously this year, losing some interior offensive linemen. We'll see how that affects the entire system.
Losing a top 2 center in the NFL sucks.
So, again, we'll see how that plays out. But he has shown, especially since he's gotten to Detroit. Oh, no, he's a real quarterback, and he's not a Sean McVay merchant.
Yeah. Just a Ben Johnson merchant.
Maybe.
That's an amazing 2 coordinators to be a part of. Just the 2 best coordinators of the modern league.
To go from Jeff Fisher to those 2.
Throw him to Shanahan next. Do the trifecta of the 3 geniuses.
Jesus
Change
Christ.
your life.
Okay, so that's an easy one. Let's go to the NFC South.
Cool. Michael Penix, unproven and unreliable. He's just unproven. He started 3 games last year.
Yeah, not really a knock against him. He just
in those 3 games, he had, I think, 3 or 5. He had 3 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. And he also threw for like over 700 yards. Hard to gauge something like that.
He is the most uncreative passer of these guys. He will stand there and just launch it. He won't do any of the fancy stuff. He won't make tons of guys miss. He won't do the sidearm angle stuff. He won't do all the improvisation. But I do think he'll have pretty good touch outside the numbers. I do think the stuff we saw in college with the deep balls and just being able to deliver it on the money to the outside for deep threat receivers, I do think that'll be there. I think he'll get to his checkdowns. I think he'll be standard, good quarterback. I think he'll be competent. I do think he'll be C tier.
Yeah, I mean,
but it is unproven right now.
His overall accuracy also needs some help because he has some throws where it's like, oh wow, that's crazy, and then also some throws where it's like, oh wow, that was crazy.
I didn't mention the middle of the field for a reason.
Yeah,
I think outside the numbers, he'll be able to attack.
Yeah.
I think the middle of the field needs work, as it does for any young quarterback, but it'll need a special work for him. Just I think he is so robotic in many ways, and is just like he's just a turret. He'll stand in there and just launch that bitch deep. Yeah. It is unproven. But I don't know. The D tier feels so derogatory right now.
Does it?
I don't know.
I mean, with those 2 guys, yes, but he literally is unproven.
Yeah. But so were the guys. So were Drake May and Caleb. But it's
they
even less
played
games.
a whole season,
Yeah,
so where
yeah.
you can actually see the flashes and project out with them. We played 3 games. Unless you want to really hang on to that Sunday night game where it's him and Jaden Daniels going back and forth, and like they go. I think the game went into overtime. But that's the only thing that you can hold on to. And so I don't feel comfortable projecting that you're going to be a can win with them off of one game.
Yeah, and I think his mobility is still to be seen. He's fast measurement wise.
Yeah.
Isn't like a functionally mobile quarterback right now. And I think he needs to be that because the middle of the field will be
And
an
that's
issue.
progress.
Yeah, so we'll see. If the wheels can come out this year, then maybe we'll see that. But that part is specifically unproven. I think he needs that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it'll necessarily ever be there due to the injuries that he sustained in college. I remember my first memory of Michael Penix is that I saw him play in Indiana, and then I also saw him play in Washington for whatever reason. And I was like, man, this guy's wild, but he's so damn raw, and he has hella talent. He could throw that bitch. But when it comes to just getting easy home run plays, it's just a massive gap. And I'm talking about college Michael Penix Jr. And also seeing how he's elevated until now.
Mm-hmm.
I feel good about him being in C tier eventually, but there's just entirely too much space there for me.
Yeah, I think if you tell me, if his career goes well and he develops, he'll be like a Dak Prescott type of quarterback. That's his ceiling, I think. Because Dak Prescott is also quite stiff and quite uncreative. So is Justin Herbert. Those honestly, this is like the Pokemon evolution. You go from Penix to Dak to Herbert. That's the evolution of just fundamental, big, standing there, strong arm quarterbacks.
Yeah.
That's the range. And then you get to mega evolution and you're John Elway. That's how it goes.
And for someone like me, I'm just I go into the game expecting, I see him, I see his stature, I see, all right, when is the run game coming?
Yeah. So
All right, it's not there yet.
unproven, but I do.
Fuck, it's not there yet.
I do feel if you're a Falcons fan watching this, you're mad. He deserves the credit of C tier if he played the whole season, but just because he played so little, we'll go D because it's by definition unproven.
Yeah.
But he'll probably be C.
Yeah.
Who's next in this division? You want to go next? Panthers, Bryce Young. This is an interesting one because he's also in a similar situation where back half of the year he put it together and I think looked like you can probably win with him.
You can win. No, you can win with Bryce Young.
But we've seen so much of being terrible, and we have the high flashing out of the second half of the season.
Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that.
I feel like it's probably unproven. I feel like we do need to see it again. We've been burnt, and we saw the progress. We saw the footwork get better. His dropbacks are just so weird and bad right now because he's so small and just can't see over the middle of the field. But he is accurate over the middle of the field, so he takes his crazy dropbacks, and that hurt him a lot. But we started to see that get cleaned up a little bit. We started to see him getting the ball out in rhythm on time, not fucking up plays because his composure and being able to read it on time with that dropback was so bad. We saw improvement there. But we saw a lot of games that didn't go well.
But that was I was in the past. It
was 2 weeks before it went well.
Listen, when things change. But I do think if we can look and give Drake and Caleb credit and project them out, I think you could do the same with Bryce Young. If you want to put Bryce Young, I'm standing on this one.
Okay.
Put Bryce Young at the end of C tier.
Okay, listen, you've given me credit for some. I'll give it to you. But
put him there because he also think about one of the situations that the Panthers were also.
But doesn't it
facing.
feel crazy to put Tua below him?
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
I don't think so.
I just throwing it out there.
When it comes to straight up ability, it might be.
I think it's a little bit nuts.
It might be.
I don't.
But listen, you gave me ground on Dak and Jordan Love. You can have Bryce Young.
The Panthers needed defensive talent.
Yeah.
And they said, no, we're going to draft a receiver first overall because they were dropping passes like crazy.
True.
Bryce Young was out here cooking with Xavier Legette and 87-year-old Adam Thielen. And so for those two guys to be the main wide receivers, and obviously they still had drop issues, I think you can go out and you can get Tet, and hopefully he fixes that. But there was a lot of really, really good stuff, like you said, in terms of anticipation and actually being the version of Bryce Young that everyone said. Everyone always calls him like a point guard and really directing. Yeah. You saw a lot of that, and you started to see the flashes and the glimpses of the idealized version of Bryce Young. Is that ever going to be a top 6 quarterback in the league? Probably not.
Hell no.
Probably not.
Hell no.
But can you win with them in a right situation? Yes. Are the Panthers going to be good this year? Maybe not. I'm probably going to lean probably not. But Bryce is going to be better, and it's not going to be like, oh wow, this is one of the worst number 1 overall picks in the last 10 years.
Yeah, I just feel like he's a definition of both unproven and unreliable. But if you want to buy in on what we saw at the end of the season and think that it's really the timing. for him to be that point guard, he has to be able to play with timing and get the ball on time to not blow up these plays. And that went from such 0 to 100 that like it went from so game breakingly terrible.
He had an epiphany.
Sure, maybe. And maybe he did. And if that's gonna be the case, then sure, he'll probably be C tier.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm just like, it doesn't like make sense to like assume it'll be the case. But if we want to have faith, I'm with it. You can have it.
Yeah, and he also has kind of some of the same things that Jared Goff does. Where like he'll go in, he'll take a hit.
Yeah, he's just 5'8" though, so it's tough. It's like if he was 6'5",
you don't like to see it, but like, hey, do you?
Okay, well, fuck it. And then Tyler Shuck will just blow into. Oh, that's Andy Dalton. I downloaded the image. Is that Andy Dalton?
No,
it's Tyler Shuck. Okay, the picture's kind of small for me.
Andy Dalton's a ginger.
Yeah, I thought it looks like a ginger from far away.
Oh no,
the screen is like really far away from me right now. But yeah, Tyler Shuck, rookie. So we'll just throw that in there,
dude. How is there any other quarterback who could be in a worse situation
than Tyler Shuck?
Yeah,
Shador.
Yeah,
true.
Yeah, I mean they have Alvin Kamara and they have Chris Olave. We'll see.
I mean, if they try to kill Chris Olave again,
Derek Carr's gone. He's not gonna be on life alert. And we'll see if Kellen Moore can do. It might be decent. It might be a decent situation. Yeah. The offensive line, they drafted tackle. They have some talent there after moving one of their tackles to guard. Yeah. They could go decently offensively for them. Defensively, I will not comment. But offensively, it can be decent if Shuck can be competent.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield. This is an interesting one. What do you think? Before I give you my thoughts,
I think you could win with Baker.
Yeah.
And I think
certainly.
I think that there's too many guys to. I don't think he's top 10.
You don't think he's top 10?
No, I don't think he's top 10.
I don't either. But
I think he can like play like a top 10 quarterback, but like over the stretch of a actual season, I don't think when you actually think about it, it would be top 10. But Baker was good last year, and even in a season where, and again, it's also like a Liam Cohen thing, but. Canales leaves and it's like, oh, what's gonna happen to Baker? And then he just does the same thing again.
Yeah.
And so you saw a lot more creation. Now, he is still a wild boy.
Wildest boy. He is the opposite of Jared Goff in every way. Jared Goff is like fundamental, no ceiling, but he will be competent. Baker Mayfield has a low floor if there is not an elite offensive coordinator and things go poorly and we see him revert to previous years. But if you give him great weapons like he has now, great coordinators like he's had the past 2 years, decent enough protection, one of the best tackles in the NFL and works, protecting his blind side, he can produce. And I think the spirit of B tier, top 10 caliber, they don't got to be top 10 right now. You know, there's only 10 guys. It's like in any given season, do you believe they could crack in the top 10? Mm-hmm. That's really what B tier means. And I feel like he's played himself to getting credit of B tier. He's like the fucking NFL Jimmy Butler, where he'll just like get shit done off of pure willpower, stand in there, be a wild boy, be aggressive, and just find a way to make it happen despite his glaring flaws and his erraticness in the pocket, him bailing pockets too soon, missing throws. Like there is a downside there, but if the circumstances are right, I think in any given year he can play like a top 10 quarterback.
Yeah, so he led the league in interceptions last year with 16. And then according to FTN, had the second most turnover-worthy throws.
Yeah.
At 21.
He'll put the ball in jeopardy, but there's also a lot of times in late games where their offense became like, Baker save us. And he does produce in times. And he is like, if we're doing the intangible thing, he is like the most beloved quarterback in the NFL in locker rooms. Like he is the leader, the heart and spirit of his teams. So like, I don't know. I'm torn because my biases go towards C tier because I don't like erraticness necessarily.
Yeah.
But in just get shit done level, you could tell me he's the worst quarterback in B tier.
Nah. Just get done. We'll go C tier.
What you mean? What's so funny about that?
You raising somebody else because they get stuff done.
That's why Jalen Hurts is B tier.
That's why he should be A tier. But I'll go top of C tier. So
okay, I'm not mad at it.
I think top of C tier.
I actually no.
Just put him in B tier.
No, I'll take Goff. I think that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think the recklessness drops him down a little bit, but he can definitely be right there.
Okay. Yeah, we already have 11 guys in the top 10 anyways, so I think the B tier should end with like 13, 14 guys that can be total, so that's fine. But I do respect Baker. As much as I like wouldn't want him to quarterback my team from trying to win a Super Bowl, I do respect what he's accomplished enough to like salute, like you could be top 10 any given year, as I suppose. But if I'm ranking my top 10, I'll promise you I'll never fucking put him top 10.
Yeah.
But I respect other people doing that because he gets shit done.
Let me see where I had him on my list.
I'll probably put him like 15.
Jeez.
That's not bad.
That does make sense. That does make sense. It's just like someone like me looking at his numbers, they look so gaudy, but then obviously there's a lot of context in those numbers, and watching the play style, it makes sense. It doesn't feel safe, so I can understand why you'd put him
this
in
is
the middle
perfect.
of the pack.
We're lining this up perfect. This is exactly where I've had him.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like C tier's getting crowded. There's a couple more coming. I really feel like Bryce should be D. But listen, you want to make the boss call, you can have it.
Me personally, if I was to...
C tier's getting crowded though, and there's a couple more coming.
You can win
You're right. That should be the biggest tier. That should be the biggest.
That's what I'm saying. You can win with a lot of guys, and I do think that especially the way that the NFL is set up right now, where people are forcing you to drive the length of the field, you want to have longer drives, and you're gonna have to run the football a lot more. You can have a more complementary style of play rather than, hey, we're gonna put everything on your back. You take us to the promised land. If you have a guy like that, you can make far runs. You know, like Purdy has been to a Super Bowl. Jared Goff has played in an NFC Championship game. Like, there's been a lot of situations where, especially in the NFC, you can win with Baker Mayfield.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but you see all that when it comes to Bryce, and then I look at Tua Tagovailoa, I'm just like, well, why is he?
I think the health thing is the difference there with the unreliable part to get the D tier.
That's also true.
I'm just thinking about straight up ability.
But hard to look past it with Tua. Tua is like, the health thing is such a ever-present force that even more than other injury-prone guys, it's really hard to look past.
Like, you have even aside from his own just like regular physical things, you have no mobility.
Yeah.
Because if he moves out, anytime he scrambles, everybody gets scared. And it's like a weird thing to operate around. So yeah, he has to be down there.
Actually, let me put him above Penix though, if we're semi-ranking these. Okay. Last division, we got the NFC West. Stafford, to me, it's still A tier. Just giving him benefit of the doubt that when things go well, we know he still has that ceiling. He's taken a little bit of a step back, but I still think listen, he has Devontae Adams this year and his Puka Nacua, the Cooper Cup
upgrade.
Was just elephant in the room of him kind of taking a step back is no longer there.
Yeah, I
do think we'll see another monstrous year from him, at least one more.
I'm a little nervous.
Me too. But he deserves it, right?
I can understand why you put him in A tier, but I am nervous. He turned it on for the playoffs. The last 3 games of the season last year, after that Buffalo game where they go back and forth and they're scoring 40 points, they scored 12 points, 19 points. Yeah. It was not pretty. He had one touchdown, 1 interception. It wasn't a great showing.
It's the most just benefit of the doubt of what you've shown us you can do, and the veteranness. Like, it's the most benefit of the doubt pick ever. But I do feel like he deserves it. Like,
all right, Brody, you got it.
Like, look at the names in B. Look at the names in B. You feel going to a playoff run. You feel better about that. About Stafford, right?
Again, you got it. Like, because I think the fact that he did turn up for the playoffs is like, that's still a positive sign.
Yeah. Even before that too, the last 9 weeks he performed really well
until his last 3 games.
Yeah,
his last 3 games were kind of bad, but he didn't have his best year at all. But I do still feel like, and also Devontae Adams is coming in the door. I think he'll have a good year.
The only thing, okay, we can go A until proven otherwise, though, and I do think that the otherwise is, put him above Jaden. The otherwise is, what does that offensive line look like this year? Because it was getting kind of shaky, and obviously he's like 40 years old. He's not going to move around. He's not going to want to get hit like crazy. You might see some plays where things get left on the table. So there's that aspect of it, but he can be an A tier.
Yeah, you're right. It's until he's not. And so we'll acknowledge the door is knocking.
Yeah.
That like, if this is the year he's no longer that, not surprising at all. But it's just pure like veteran deserve it. Mm-hmm. And it's like not substantive, but it is what it is.
Okay. He is the only one who deserves that type of pass.
Yeah, amongst these guys, yeah. Amongst the guys in B. Like, there's reasons to give benefit of the doubt to a lot of guys in B, I think. Mm-hmm. And I feel best about the Stafford benefit of the doubt.
Okay.
Like, it's the ceiling is higher. Like, of all the guys in B, does anybody have a higher ceiling than Stafford? Maybe Stroud if he gets back. But even then, no, not really.
Okay.
If we're just talking about ceilings.
Matthew Stafford's ceiling.
It is high. But I'm just saying, like, just best version.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Hurts, the best version of him.
Oh my fucking God.
It is crazy. It is wild.
This is nasty.
It is wild.
Kyler Murray. I feel like Kyler Murray's definition of top of C tier.
He's so divisive, bro.
Oh, you think he's not the top?
I think he's
right behind Goff?
Maybe behind Baker?
I think him and Baker are like the same situation, honestly. The same, like, it's different, but the same type of guy, like flashes, but some serious strengths holding you back.
Mm.
I feel the same way. I feel I feel like Kyler's weaknesses are less set in stone than Baker's. Baker is who he is,
and that's okay.
Yeah,
I think that's fine. Even if we know what your weaknesses are, I don't think that necessarily makes you a bad player.
Bryce Young and C is really pissing me off the more we see more these days.
Yo,
it's fine. It's fine.
Trust.
I told you can have it. I told you I'm not going to change it, but just know it's pissing me off.
I don't know.
It's just so funny we have these young guys in there when there is an unproven category.
No, we gotta drop them down. We gotta drop them down.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Yeah.
Thank God.
As time goes on,
no, not Bryce. I'm talking about Drake and Caleb.
No, I think Bryce.
Fuck off.
You said the young guys.
Bryce is one of the young guys too.
I really meant all three, but the other one.
Nah, man, put him back up. Okay.
Fuck it, we'll just roll with it. Kyler Murray is here. You can debate that. I don't care between him and Baker, but same middle of the field issues of a lot of these small quarterbacks.
Yeah.
The way he wants to play football is different than the way Marvin Harrison Jr. wants to play football. They're using him in ways out of necessity that he's this like clear out deep threat guy. And Kyler Murray doesn't necessarily have the best instincts for attacking on the in-breaking routes in the middle of the field that Marvin Harrison excels at. And there's just a lack of consistency there. He's a very good passer, attacking outside the numbers, doing short game passes. Obviously, he's mobile, can run. I'm not inspired by his creativity inside the pocket, which I think is an important thing if you're going to be the creative guy. Mm-hmm. And I just think it's kind of like Trevor Lawrence, where it just hasn't been quite put together. We know the ceiling is there, but it just hasn't happened yet. Yeah,
it just sounds so disappointing whenever people do mention his name and any type of quarterback talks or just player talks in general.
Yeah.
C-tier sounds good.
And like part of it is they are a very run heavy offense now, which holds him back a little bit, like gaudy numbers wise.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like he's been the best, most effective play action passer even with that. I'll check the numbers right now, but there's just lack of elite traits right now that have really been functional to make you put him above and put him towards a guy like Jordan Love, who obviously has the like ridiculous deep ability that I don't know what you point to at Kyler to say like if he's going to have a top 10 season next year, what's going to be the thing that propels that?
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. That's actually scary.
He was 15th and 14th in completion percentage on play action last year, while having one of the more effective run games in the NFL. So not terrible, but you want to be a little bit higher than that, especially because his dropback percentage there was 8th. So it's a pretty high volume of play action dropbacks.
Okay,
it's not bad.
We all satisfied with C-tier?
Yeah,
C-tier makes sense.
Sam Darnold, one incredibly strong year, showed he can be competent. I think he might have shown that you can't win with him, though, because the way he shut down in the playoffs.
I feel bad, but it was crazy. You saw somebody get like real life PTSD.
Yeah. The lights got bright?
Yeah. As soon as like the pressure started to come on, you saw the ghost just get in his heads. And it really is unfortunate because he had a really good season. And all anybody's going to remember is like, yeah, you choked in the last 2 weeks of the season.
Amazing season. Like, I mean, if last year was his rookie year, we'd be like, oh, this is B, probably. Yeah. But by the nature of so many bad years in this one miracle year, does that just mean it's unproven?
I would say more unreliable.
Same thing, whatever. Yeah. Just like we don't, if you can do it again, you'll rise up. But is it a true, like, we need to see this again?
100%.
Yeah.
But I would take Sam Darnold over all three of those guys in D tier.
Yeah, definitely. He's definitely the best guy there.
So he's the top of D tier.
Yeah.
Yeah. And really, he's like a C minus. Like, he's not D tier in terms of the abilities this guy next to him, I don't think. But one, C tier is getting too big, and I'm sick of looking at it.
Let's move folks down. Why are we scared?
Because he said no, and I told him he can have that.
I'm the deciding factor. I think we got to move Bryce Young down. We got to. It doesn't feel right with the way it happened.
Brother, he was hooping at the end of the year.
Yeah, at the end of the year. And it
Sam
still
Darnold was
feels like
for the whole year.
Yeah.
And then what? And then played two good teams and it was like, ah.
Okay, all right. What would have happened if Bryce Young made the playoffs? What would have happened if Bryce Young made the playoffs?
He went toe-to-toe with Eagles, though. He did.
You think that would have happened in the playoff setting?
I mean, it happened in the regular season. One of Sam Darnold's, was at the end of the year, too, in the regular season. And there were throws to be made. He left mad points, mad throws on the table. He could not handle it.
Yeah, I mean, again, if we're doing it for Caleb and May, I understand why you want to.
And we're projected out.
Yeah, no, I get it. If you're projecting,
that's
why I didn't demand it.
Okay, I forget about that.
That's why I didn't demand it. But well, the comments aside, it's not crazy. I'm not saying it's ridiculous.
Y'all hate on Bryce Young.
I'm not. I'm leaving it there, aren't I?
Bryce is you and me. That's twin.
Brock Purdy, last quarterback on our list.
Put him behind Jared Goff. I really respect Jared Goff.
You do. You've always loved Jared Goff. You've always hated Brock Purdy.
Why do you hate Brock Purdy?
I feel some kind of instinct to. It feels weird. I feel like he's between Goff and Love, and something tells me to put him a tier above Goff. Yeah. Put him in the bottom of B. But I'm also okay with top of C. That doesn't feel right though, because I don't think he's gonna be a top 10 quarterback. So
that's a bit too much.
Yeah. So I'm thinking top of C for me.
If you want to do that, that's cool. I really like Goff. I would take him above him. But Purdy's nice though. I hated Purdy at the start because when he came on and he really wasn't doing much, and they were like, "Oh, he's the MVP," and I wasn't rocking with that. However, he did show me something, and then I was like, "Okay, you know what? I'm kind of on board."
What did he show you?
So Purdy comes in 22, and they start winning games. They get to the NFC Championship game. He gets hurt, whatever. The next year, it's peak like Avenger season where everybody comes back, Debo, IU, CMC, all that. And that was the year where they were putting, Purdy in MVP conversations, and I wasn't with it. And I was like, if things weren't going perfect, then he can't.
That sounds like Jalen Hurts a little bit.
Hold on, right? But then
stay with me now.
Exactly. Please stay with me. But then the Niners, they did get into like poor game scripts in the playoffs. They got down against Green Bay, and Purdy did play well and led them back and led good fourth quarter drives. They got down big against the Lions in the NFC Championship game. He was able to continue to play well, stay steady, and then you get to the Super Bowl and you go into overtime against Mahomes, and he wasn't awful in that game. Like they didn't win because of him, but they also didn't lose because of him. And I think even last year, with all of the injuries that the Niners went through, there were still some pretty good Purdy moments. The offense still relatively was like fairly efficient, fairly good. He was 6th in EPA per drop back last year. The numbers and what Purdy's able to do is fine. And so I genuinely think you can win with him.
No, I think he was great last
year. You were in overtime of a Super Bowl. You can win with Brock Purdy.
He was the fact that the Niners had a top 10 EPA last year with no CMC, no Ayuk, and a washed up Debo Samuel. Shout out Kyle Shanahan. You're besides Sean McVay, you're the biggest offensive genius in the modern NFL. I'm sure that's a big part to do with you, and you figured the shit out. It's also a big part to do with Brock Purdy. Like they've had the ability to move a little bit away from Shanahan style. Like it's not all zone run, play action boot, do all the typical Shanahan layup passes to get rack yards. They're able to do more true drop back stuff with Brock Purdy because he has those abilities. He is a good processor. He's accurate. He doesn't have the craziest arm, obviously, so he's not throwing bombs on deep balls, killing you along the sidelines. But he can execute. He can truly drop back and read a defense and go through his progressions and be a weapon. Like be able to. He's not bad at evading pressure within the pocket. I've never thought that he's terrible under pressure at all. He's very, very solid. Like he's overpaid in terms of like roster construction. I don't know if it's worth it because of this category player. Like same way that maybe Kyler Murray would be overpaid in that scenario. But he's not gonna. He makes them better too. Like both are true.
No, I think like for where he's getting paid and like his like.
Actually, I phrased that wrong. He's not overpaid. He's properly paid. But it also might be a bad contract for the team in terms of like where they're at roster wise.
Yeah, but it's fine. And again,
I'm just trying to think of why he can't be at the back end of B.
Because there's no world in which he's the 8th best quarterback in the league. I think like compared to Jordan Love, the ceiling is there because we know his athletic abilities are so otherworldly. I think Purdy's a high floor, not quite as high of a ceiling guy.
Yeah, but Purdy also, the argument for him being above Goff, especially in C, is you don't think of him as like some scrambler runner. He has legs and he can move and he can create, either outside the pocket or even for himself with just running the ball. And he's a very timely scrambler. Like he can get 4 yards here, 5 yards there. It's very like Joe Burrow-esque in the ways that he gets his scrambling yards. So I can understand C. And yeah, shout out to Brock Purdy. I've really done a 180 with him. I really used to hate Brock Purdy.
Yeah, you hated the shit out of Brock Purdy.
We also had a dude in our group chat who was just glazing to the max of Brock Purdy, and it made me hate him the most.
What level of glaze are we talking about when it comes to Brock Purdy? Like, was he one of them ones saying MVP?
I can't say it here.
Wow, it's that nasty.
It was nasty.
What are you referring to? Just say it.
It was nasty. My parents are watching.
Like one of the greatest of all time. What were they?
Wow. Whoa, he said that. I don't even know what you're referring to.
No.
One of the greatest, like, you're saying he's on like.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I see.
Look, I almost said something, but
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it was ridiculous.
Yeah. Okay, so this is our tier list. Is there anything that we feel like we have to address before it ends?
Don't say nothing. Don't say nothing.
I have my reservations for Bryce Young and Sam Darnold.
Bryce Young, nobody believes in you. What are you prepared to do?
I just want to see more proof from the pudding, man, because, bro, I tweeted out the other day or last week, like, what are the teams that I should potentially put my trust and fandom in? And I haven't seen enough. There was hella Carolina Panther fans in my mentions, in my DMs, trying to like writing me mini paragraphs about why I should join their team. And so this is a very important, impactful tier list to me and my future as an NBA fan or NFL fan.
You trying to be a Chargers fan and root for irrelevancy that team nobody cares about?
I can't do that.
Be the underdog?
I'm not going to completely rule them out. No team is ruled out just yet, but I can't do that right now.
I would advise you rule them out for your own mental health.
Come on.
But the swag, though.
The swag
Fuck
is
mental
there.
health.
I got an LT jersey coming in. It's pretty cool.
Tough.
It's pretty cool.
That was my first jersey.
Really?
Yeah, a powder blue LaDainian Tomlinson.
I ordered that this morning. There's a sale.
That was my favorite player. We were out there. I was buying the chunky Campbell soups because I saw LT eat it. I said, I have
Gotta
to
eat it.
There you go. And this is our tier list of every quarterback. Feel free to yell at us, as I'm sure you will anyways.
Yeah.
Okay.
And now it's time to have some fun. On to our next segment of this video. We're going to do a draft.
Let's do it.
Let's
Who
go.
drafting?
We're going to draft a player. We're going to build a player. And today, we are going to build the best running backs possible.
Okay.
We have 5 categories: speed, strength, receiving, agility, and vision. We're going to draft traits from NFL running backs playing today, only current players.
Damn.
And we got to see who can build the best running back possible. The draft order is Donovan, me, Mo. Donovan, where do you want to go in the best running back build a player draft? First pick.
I would like to get the man who just ran for 2,000 yards. I want his vision. Give me Saquon Barkley vision.
Okay.
Oh, I thought you were
Wow.
going to use Saquon for like agility.
Agility, yeah, that makes sense.
That's a surprising pick.
But that's not a bad.
The
pick
way
either.
Saquon creates holes out of nothing, pause, is ridiculous.
Yeah, you go. Second pick, give me Derrick Henry strength.
Fuck.
Make me the strongest guy. One of the strongest running backs in NFL history.
You got that. You got it.
God damn it. Okay. So for receiving, give me CMC. I love me some
Fair
Christian
enough.
McCaffrey.
That's a good thing to bet on. Even if he is washed, his hands will not be denied.
Yeah.
He will
Yeah.
be routing up regardless.
Damn. Okay.
That's a really good pick. I was thinking about that.
And then when it comes to agility, give me Bijan.
Fuck. Oh, dude. I was praying I could be as strong as Henry and juke like Bijan.
Yeah.
That is a good one. Okay. Then I will take Gibbs agility.
Okay.
I need that.
Gibbs agility.
I was going to take his speed.
Damn.
For speed, I was like, there's a lot of fast guys.
There
Gib-
are.
Gibbs moves.
That's like
fine.
my least prioritized.
Oh, that was a
position.
bad pick. I should have. Fuck.
For,
It wasn't a bad pick.
agility, I would take Alvin Kamara.
Oh, thank God you didn't pick who I thought you were going to pick.
And then for speed, give me Devon A.
Damn it.
Okay.
Okay. Speed. H-N. We messed up with the agility. Nobody's going to have me when I say it at the end. I messed up big time picking Gibbs for agility. Damn. Give me... Ooh, this is tough now. Give me Kenneth Walker speed. 4.3 speed.
Okay.
Okay.
Fake 4.3, but
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, well, it's measurable. Why is it fake?
Because 4.3 is ridiculous.
First of all, it's 4.38, so it's barely a 4.3. But he is fast. Mo, your turn.
Damn. All right. So for strength,
4.3. That's a 4.4, bro.
It is a 4.4.
That's a 4.4.
No, he's fast.
he's a rookie, but give me Ashton Genty.
For what?
Strength.
Oh, okay. Bouncing off of people.
Yeah.
Gotta go to my drawing
Let me,
board.
That's
let me
a good one.
solidify that right now as we speak.
That's a good one for sure.
And then, ooh, man. Fuck. Okay, which trait do I want to prioritize right now? Speed or vision?
You better take who I think you're taking at speed.
God damn it. I'm gonna evade speed right now and go straight to vision because that is also very important. Give me Jonathan Taylor.
Damn it. Ah.
Yeah. Give me Jonathan Taylor.
Is Mo going to fucking win?
He might.
Damn it.
might.
Damn.
They said I was gonna be back to my old way selling. I'm not.
Oh.
I'm
Give me
getting better
Bucky
every
Irving
year.
vision.
Oh, damn.
That man sees the field, finds the hole, whether
Okay.
it's 40 yards to the right or right in front of him.
That is good. That is good.
I was freaking out first. I forgot. I was thinking about picking Bucky Irving agility, and I was kind of mad I didn't do it. Then I remembered he also has eyes on the back of his head.
Nice. For strength, give me Josh Jacobs.
Ooh, that's a good one.
And then for receiving, see, there's a lot of ways that I can go. This is very tough, but I have no idea what
This is a
wanna
hard
do.
category.
It is hard. I'm gonna go with the guy. He can't do nothing else. The rest of his body has failed him.
Okay.
But if you put him on a jugs machine, he's nice. Give me Austin Eckler receiving.
Okay.
He can't do anything whenever the ball's in his hands, right? He's getting caught from 10 yards away, from 50 yards away. Doesn't matter. He can catch though.
Yeah, I don't know if the route running speed is quite what it once was, but you got it. Give me Brees Hall receiving.
Fuck.
That's fair.
Okay.
I was decided between those two.
Yeah. I'll pick the guy that's not ancient.
If I'm
Damn.
just getting one trade, it's fine.
Need you for one day.
Yeah.
All right. Speed. I have no really wrong choice at all. I think I want to hang my hat on Chase Brown.
Okay. Very fast player. Yeah.
Yeah.
The speed is the one thing to pick with Chase Brown. So that's a
Exactly,
good
yeah.
pick.
I can hang my hat on him.
Hey man, you guys are kind of nice.
Yeah, I think you might have fucking won.
Who is this? Who is this player?
Adrian Peterson.
Yeah, I was about to say baby.
So I got Kenneth Walker speed, Derrick Henry strength, Brees Hall receiving, Jahmyr Gibbs agility, and Bucky Irving vision. I'm gonna win the comments because everybody loves Bucky Irving.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna win because I picked Bucky Irving.
You
But-
kind of have. Actually, not. AP doesn't have Jahmyr Gibbs' agility, but
No.
like the strength and speed that
Oh, Derrick Henry.
that's
Yeah,
very
just straight-
much like
You're right.
AP just
Yeah.
just big. All right.
Genty strength. No, he has. This guy's a little slower. Mo kind of has like Le'Veon Bell vibes, but faster.
I like that.
but
yeah.
faster a little bit.
Okay.
I have Devon HN speed, Josh Jacobs strength, Austin Eckler receiving, Alvin Kamara agility, Saquon Barkley vision.
Solid players. I don't know who won. When we do all current players, they're all so good that
We got to
I don't
make
know-
that in Madden.
Dude, these players would be insane. Applying all their stats.
Yeah.
All right, man. Next thing we're gonna do. Mo, I believe you have a blind ranking for us.
Yes, I do. I have a blind ranking. I believe we did this 2 weeks ago, but I think it got scrapped. So we got a whole new one. But this time around, I'm gonna have you guys blind rank pass rushers.
Got dusty.
Yeah, I need some water.
Okay. Pass rushers are good. I gotta show the
Yeah.
defense some love.
So I got 5 of them. All right,
Okay. 1 through 5.
1 through 5.
Don't know
I'm
about
not
that.
gonna try to
Spin move.
finesse you guys at all.
I hit that
First
fake
name
spin.
up.
Disgusting. See, I got a bag. Put me on the line.
I have the grinding Dwight Freeney tapes.
Put me on the line.
The Julius Peppers tape is in the holster.
Exactly.
First name up, Nick Bosa.
Ooh. 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's gonna be a lot of great players here.
Probably. I'll go 3. It feels like
I don't think at his best he was in DPOY conversations. Like he had the ceiling. I feel, but he's not one of the best of all time or anything. So I'm gonna leave the top 2 open.
I do feel like either Myles Garrett or TJ Watt's going to be on this list.
Yeah.
Maybe both. So
Okay.
I'm cool with 3.
3.
Okay, 3. No going back.
Oh fuck, we mess up.
Von Miller.
5.
5. You know,
Damn, he said that fast.
Oh,
Right now.
No, we're doing current or all peak, right?
Peak. Yeah.
Oh,
Not
peak.
current.
Everybody
Can't
prime.
do-
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Everybody prime. Okay.
Yeah. So it's
Listen,
like
that's different.
all at their best.
Yeah,
all
yeah,
time
That's different.
top.
I thought
All
that's-
time
That's what I
top,
thought.
yeah.
I thought we were
No,
talking
no,
about
no.
right now.
Yeah.
All time. 1 or 2.
That's the Super Bowl MVP.
I don't think we'll feel that bad if we go 1.
As
Yeah.
a defensive player to win Super Bowl MVP is ridiculous. I'm going 1.
Yeah, I think we'll live if we go 1. Even
Yeah.
if somebody else is on here, I won't feel that terrible.
One of the best player on one of the best defenses.
I don't think you're gonna pull out a name that makes me feel even a little bit bad about putting Von Miller 1.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Okay. JJ Watt.
Fuck, you pulled out a name that made me feel a little bit bad. Immediately finds the exact name I did not want him to pull out.
Damn.
JJ Watt, you're the greatest defensive player of my lifetime, but you're at number 2 on our list. At least it's above Nick Bosa.
Oh man.
We got something going.
You got some. You can hang your hat on some. All right. Next name.
Why did we do that? If it's all time, see, I shouldn't have listened to you. If
It's not
if
bad.
it's not a bad placement,
Yeah.
but like,
You didn't know that I was it's blind.
man,
Don't beat yourself up too
Whoa.
much.
I would have put Nick Bosa lower if I thought it was. Sorry, next name.
I don't know
Next
how many
name.
Hall of Famers are on here, man. I don't know.
He's gonna be like Lawrence Taylor, and it's gonna be at 5. It's gonna be like,
well, then
I'm
we're
not
fucked.
doing that. I'm not doing that. I got you. Micah Parsons.
4.
5.
He's better than Nick Bosa, but we'll live with 4.
Okay, 4 is good.
You
4
want
is
to
good.
save? Do you want to save 4? Can we put Micah at 5?
No. I can't put Micah 2 spots below Nick Bosa. that's disrespectful.
Who's the last name?
Last name. We got Myles Garrett.
So this is the worst list
So
I've ever
how do you
seen.
feel? How do you feel?
I feel like it's the worst list I've ever seen.
Yeah, because we could have saved the last.
I don't give a fuck about
We could
that.
have. We could have
This list
saved the
is-
second half.
This list is already screwed either way. That's not what I'm losing sleep over.
We could have saved the second half.
Either way, we got Nick Bosa over both of them. It's a disgusting list.
You guys are a walking lick.
It's awful.
I ain't gonna lie, it was kind of devious with the way I set it up, but I never actually got you guys in this way before. It's kind of fun watching you guys fail. I understand you now. I understand.
Yeah,
I understand you.
That
When
was
you
what-
put Myles Garrett last, it's kind of hard.
Yeah.
we didn't
Oh,
have to
man.
do that.
You flip them, it's still the worst list of all time.
No,
You
said-
flipped them. It's the worst list. of
Put
all
Micah
time.
Parsons at 5, Garrett at 4. This list still blows.
but it's not as bad. It's
Sure.
having Garrett at the bottom,
It's still disgusting.
and then we get to laugh at the Cowboys.
Yeah, it's
We could
disgusting.
have did that.
That's funny. Okay,
You left us out.
Next thing we're gonna do.
I have something else for you guys.
What do you got for me?
It's fun as hell. We just did a QB tier list, and it got me thinking, man, oh man, I love the old 2010s, early 2010s, and like back half of the 2000s quarterbacks. And I am going to do a old versus new. I have a list of quarterbacks, and I have one from the past, some from the present, and I want to know which one is better.
Okay,
Who
so
would you
at
rather
their peak,
have?
who are we taking?
At their peak.
You want to win a Super Bowl today, one game, who are we taking?
Exactly.
Wanna do it that
One
way?
game.
One
all you
game,
got.
your life is on the
You
line.
know that's how.
The Martians got the death beam pointed at Earth. Who's throwing the final pass?
Classic gun to the back of your head. Cam Newton or Lamar Jackson?
Shout out 2015 Cam. Lamar Jackson is if like 2015 Cam happened for 5 straight years.
Whew.
But one game.
Yeah, one singular game.
I'm sorry. I still have to go Lamar. But like,
Yeah.
but listen, I'm not as confident as I would like to be.
Because of the
Is it-
playoff issues.
Yeah.
Is there no argument for Cam at all?
Not
Considering
really.
the lack of weapons that he had, this
So I mean, the respective. So if we're arguing who had a better MVP season, and you want to respect the MVP season more because he was throwing to nobodies,
yeah.
sure. But I think Lamar is the better pocket passer. He's the more effective rusher in a lot of ways. I don't have any issue saying Lamar is just who I'm taking without a doubt.
I want to see him be a better pocket passer. Goddamn Ted Ginn Jr. running them routes.
I'm not going to act like Lamar Jackson is throwing to AJ Brown here. It's not like his weapons are insane, but he does have a crazy run game to have and great defense. So he has more help, but I'm not gonna pretend that he's
Yeah.
being carried.
Yeah. Okay. That's not crazy.
Yeah,
Life
but
for me
listen-
wants to say Cam, but it's okay.
Listen, Cam Newton laid the blueprint of how to play with this mobile quarterback and win an MVP. Lamar ran with it.
All right. Next we got Phillip Rivers versus Justin Herbert.
Which Chargers quarterback do I want to pick that was always falling victim to being not as good as the legends they played against?
I'm gonna go. Listen, I'm gonna go with Phillip Rivers.
Yeah, it's got
It's
to be
because it's more proven at this point.
This man played
Obviously.
a game with the torn ACL. He's gonna give it his all.
Yeah. Phillip Rivers, one of the better outside the
crazy.
numbers accuracy passers I've ever fucking
He
seen
really played with a torn ACL?
in a conference championship game.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And also, like, if you tell me when Justin Herbert's 32 that he will have developed to be better than Phillip Rivers, that's not surprising. But right now, he hasn't gotten there yet. I'm still going with Rivers as the Chargers go.
Shout out to the old man.
Shout out to the old
Where would you rank, out of curiosity, where would he rank today?
Phillip Rivers?
Yeah, prime Phillip Rivers.
Probably like
In
right
this
after
QB.
Joe Burrow. Same place as Justin Herbert.
Damn, bro. They're the same guy. Fuck.
Yeah.
Okay. Next, we got Peyton Manning versus Patrick Mahomes.
I'm taking Patrick Mahomes, and this sucks because Peyton is my favorite quarterback, like non-equal quarterback, but Mahomes is just come on.
It's like the second versus fourth most talented quarterback of all time. Like, it's so close that like you can't feel bad if somebody wants to say Peyton, but yeah, you know, there's a reason we refer to Mahomes as like chasing Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Before he's a decade in,
Yeah,
like he was chasing Tom Brady 2 years in, and we're like, oh yeah,
How good was Peyton Manning scrambling?
non-existent, but that's a different
he
era.
don't scramble.
That's a different era, though. We don't talk about that.
Yeah, I know. Seeing him run away just looks so funny, bro. Dumbass long neck. Just trying to evade.
But no, for their era, these are the
Yeah.
two most talented quarterbacks of their era.
That's
Facts.
important to talk about. For the era,
Very different game.
but put Patrick Mahomes in that era, Mahomes in that
He's
era,
lighting it up.
he's still eating.
Yeah. Mahomes will fit in literally any year. And so would Peyton Manning, to be fair. Like, he would beat Joe Burrow, but better. So
Definitely true.
he wouldn't be bad today at all.
Next, we got Donovan McNabb versus Jalen Hurts.
Donovan, you're two Shaylas.
These are my Shaylas.
Who are you picking?
These are my Shaylas.
I'm not even going to say a word. You pick between your
I was
favorite
talking
sons.
to your dad the other day. He told me that he named you after him.
He's lying. He's lying. It's like, what do you... McNabb was drafted the same year I got born. So my dad, I promise you, he was not grinding Syracuse football tape and was like, oh, I love this McNabb guy.
He's going to be the one.
He's going to have a hard conversation with you later, man.
I have no idea why he said that.
Just capping.
Yeah, that's not true. I'm gonna go Jalen Hurts. Yeah, I think that Hurts has proven the ability to rise to the level where McNabb, his whole career, the Eagles were getting to Super Bowls, making NFC Championship games, and were falling short every single time. And so I think it's a combination of him and Andy Reid, but I'm gonna take the winner. I'm gonna take the guy who has delivered me another Super Bowl.
Purely emotional. He's gotten in the ring. He got to see the parade, so he's gonna go with him.
Okay.
Fair enough. When it's your Shaylas, pick the Shayla that won, I suppose.
That's what I'm saying. When you guys understand that,
oh my God,
then you guys like would know the mindset.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
But
I understand that.
But y'all
because
don't have that.
Yeah. And you never felt it in basketball, so you have to
Yeah,
like
y'all have
get that. You have to compensate somewhere else. I
Y'all have
understand that. I get that.
I hate
Yeah.
these combos.
When have you experienced multiple in basketball?
What does that even mean in this conversation?
I got two. Understand? I got
I
two.
hate
Well,
these
I was 10 years old with one.
conversations.
I don't give a shit about that, but I did get technically 3.
That's what I'm saying. I've been a coherent adult for 2 years.
This is why it's so important for me to pick my team so diligently. Because I
Facts.
ain't got shit to hang my hat on, man.
Pick the Bengals.
Not yet.
Next one.
Next one, we got Andrew Luck versus Joe Burrow.
Shout out Joe Burrow. You win a lot of these competitions. I think you were legitimately talented across any era. Andrew Luck is a different monster and the same beast.
When I tell you the level of stories I'm going to tell my children about how good Andrew Luck is, they're going to think that he was the greatest athlete of all time. Not just quarterback, just athlete.
And you know what? You're not going to be gassing either.
not gonna be crazy.
The legends that will be told. This is, you know what? I said it last week. Somebody else is our generation's Bo Jackson.
Yeah.
This is our generation's Bo Jackson. And we're going to say, if he didn't retire, if he had a better situation, he would have been the GOAT. And I will not stop saying it because you can't prove me wrong because he's retired already.
Everybody,
So,
yeah.
I'm going to ride that hypothetical. I'm going to ride that into legend status for Andrew Luck.
Since 2012, there's been a couple guys like Caleb Williams and Trevor Lawrence. So they're like, these are can't miss prospects. They're going to be amazing. Da, da, da. Andrew Luck was the one. Andrew Luck was the can't miss prospect that didn't miss. All these other guys are just trying to chase him.
Imagine Peyton Manning could run.
Jesus Christ.
Andrew Luck.
Jesus
Nah,
Christ.
this guy was different, man.
Nasty. This is a nasty word. Complete opposite. Johnny Manziel versus Zach Wilson.
Oh my God.
That's not where I thought this was going.
Okay, so you got to win a Super Bowl. So it's one game.
Yeah.
I think I'm picking Zach Wilson because if we're in the Super Bowl and we had the week of lead up, Johnny Manziel would be in the club the night before. Him and LeBron would be going crazy with like Neymar or something. They'd be going nuts in Miami, even though the Super Bowl is being played in San Francisco.
He's getting busy.
He said that whenever he played Alabama, he was hungover. Maybe he does need to be drunk.
So we're putting him in his right environment to thrive.
Yeah.
But what if the Eagles are on the other end of that? It's not Alabama.
All right, I'll take Zach Wilson.
Damn.
What a nasty conversation.
This sounds like the only
The
conversation.
sentence,
that
I'll take Zach
could
Wilson
win.
to win a Super Bowl is outrageous. But
To
here we
save
are.
my life.
But here we are. Yeah, the gun to my head. Give me Zach Wilson.
This sounds like the only conversation he'll be able to win.
Uh,
RG3 versus Jaden Daniels.
So it's Ricky RG before the injuries.
Yeah. At his complete
You
peak.
got to go Jaden Daniels just because, like, if they're playing today, the league figured that read option shit out. they're standing on that. Whereas Jaden Daniels is, I think, probably the better, more complete passer. Even though RG3 was slinging that bitch in his rookie year.
But the swagger.
He is cool.
The swagger.
yeah.
Oh, wait, but the swagger has died.
The swagger's
Jaden Daniels.
The swagger's
I will not say anymore.
Days.
Jaden Daniels.
I'm not giving aura points to Robert Griffin III.
No,
these
but he
days.
was swagger.
At his peak, he deserves a little
Yeah,
points, bro.
he was very swagger.
Okay, we'll
Bro.
pretend that at that point we'll pretend that we don't know about the media career. We're just looking at the player.
Yeah, this is just straight up like peak Twilight years. And in my mind too, did you see him during Breast Cancer Awareness Month?
Oh, with the pink on that uniform?
Swag is outrageous, bro.
Yeah.
We need to get back to that.
We're still
We
going
do.
Jaden Daniels, but shout out the swag of young RG3.
Yeah. Next up, we got Tony Romo versus Dak Prescott.
This is like the Chargers one. They're just the same guy across different generations. Which quarterback that's a top 10 quarterback in a lot of years, but will never be good enough to beat the top 3 quarterbacks? Which one do you want?
I'm going Dak Prescott.
Ooh.
Yeah, probably a little more physically gifted.
Yeah.
And neither one of them are like amazing processors between the eyes. So it's not like we're missing out on like
2 playoff wins, 1 playoff win. In
Damn.
like, what, 20-something years now? Between the two of them? Gotta go with Dak Prescott.
Dude,
never ever forget there was a 3-year stretch where the Cowboys lost to every single team in the division in the last week of the season because Tony Romo threw an interception. That is my favorite bedtime story. I watched those YouTube videos in succession. Anytime I have that and a cup of warm milk, and it gets me to bed.
Warm milk
every single time.
Are you a baby cat? Are you a kitten?
Listen, when it's 3 a.m. and I've tried everything, that's what I do.
The greatest hate watch of all time.
I don't think I've ever hated anything as much as Donovan hates Cowboys.
Man.
I hate them.
I think you hate the Cowboys more than I hate ISIS. I think you hate them more than anything, man.
Alex Smith versus Jordan Love. Fuck ISIS, man.
I guess Alex Smith. To make it clear, I guess Alex Smith deserves it. He had you know, more success, deeper runs. But Jordan Love, he has the ceiling to be better than Alex Smith for sure.
He does. I guess I need to know what's the consequence of losing this game.
The guns to your head.
I mean, I'm gonna die either way. Alex Smith isn't like gonna win the game.
I don't know. You put him on the Eagles last year in Jalen Hurts' position. Alex Smith can win the game.
Peak Alex Smith? You don't think so?
No. They went and Colin Kaepernick took his job because they knew deep down we're not gonna win the game if he's the quarterback.
So are you going Jordan Love? Sounds like you're telling me you're going Jordan Love.
Yeah, just for vibes, I guess. You know,
there's a
what
chance.
color casket do you want?
I mean, if everybody's dying, if the fate of the world is on the universe, if the fate of the world is at stake, I go Jordan Love.
Okay,
I ain't going with you. Give me Alex Smith.
But I don't feel good. I feel like we're dying either way.
Yep. Eli Manning versus Matthew Stafford.
Stafford.
Yeah.
Math.
Hey, that's kind of hard. Calling somebody instead of Matt, they're math.
Math. I never heard math before.
Just have a lisp.
Let's make it math.
Ew.
Math.
I'll
go Stafford.
Yeah, I mean, Eli's the funniest comparison ever in any of these conversations because, like, end of the day, he has 2 rings. So, like, you can be like, Stafford's better short, better deep, stronger arm, better evading pressure in the pocket, more creative of a passer. Yeah, but Eli Manning beat Tom Brady twice. The ultimate trump card.
And this is I hate about football conversation.
I guess Eli did take down the Death Star twice.
Motherfucker is Luke Skywalker.
Do it again. We'll go for the trilogy.
I think are we facing Tom Brady in this Super Bowl?
Yes.
Oh, then Eli Manning.
Lights are dumb bright.
If you don't pick Eli Manning against Tom Brady in the Super Bowl, you are mathematically illiterate.
Facts. Big facts.
But if you're facing anybody else, it can be Matthew Stafford.
I guess.
That's the last one.
Oh my gosh. I hate how we ended that.
Next up, let's play a game of King of the Hill.
Ooh, okay. I like this. I played this for the first time actually a couple weeks ago. And it was fun. But this time around, I want to play this game with you guys. Wide receiver edition.
Okay.
So I need you guys to be on your P's and Q's.
If you guys don't know King of the Hill, he's going to name 2 wide receivers. We pick who's better. Then he's going to keep naming more wide receivers subsequently. And we keep picking from those new matchups who we take until we at the end. We'll do 10 total names. We'll see who wins at the end.
Yep, exactly. So the first name is A.J. Brown and Hines Ward.
Shout out Hines Ward. A.J. Brown got it.
Really? Damn.
Yeah. Hines Ward, great blocker.
That's a great blocker, man.
Great blocker.
You want to talk about lining him up inside, taking out an outside linebacker?
That's what I'm saying. He allows you to be multiple on offense. It's great. I need head tops. I'm taking A.J. Brown.
I'll let the Eagles fan have it. We can go A.J. Brown, even though I don't know if it's true.
Okay. What about A.J. Brown and Puka Nacua?
Oh,
that's close. It's A.J. Brown right now, but like Puka's close.
I think right now, for this year, I think it might be Puka. But because it's not a guarantee, I'll let you have A.J. Brown.
I hate this guy. He just hates us. And that's okay.
I think I might pick Puka like 4 and A.J. Brown 5 this year.
That's fine.
But because A.J. Brown's done it for a few years and Puka's just getting there, I'll give it to you. You can go A.J. Brown.
A.J. Brown, we move. What about A.J. Brown and Nico Collins?
Another one that Nico is on his fucking heels.
This guy just wants everybody to snatch AJ Brown's chain. It's not happening because he's winning this
It's
matchup
not about
too.
AJ. I love AJ Brown.
No,
Nico
you don't.
Collins is just
You
a beast.
clearly don't.
Nico and Puka are just fantastic.
You clearly don't like
I'm
AJ
saying
Brown.
it's AJ Brown. I'm letting you have it. This is Eagles motherfucking fans.
Keep
They
us
win
outside
and they just want to win in more acceptable fashion.
Keep us outside the top 10.
Do you ever get like full or ever feel like greedy?
Understand.
Yeah, do you ever just feel like you have a mouthful? Are you ever sick of it?
First of all, I'm never satisfied.
Damn.
Never
Okay.
satisfied.
No, I get AJ Brown, but Nico Collins is coming. I think he is pretty soon he'll jump into top 5 talks.
Okay. AJ Brown moves forward. Until he sees AJ Green.
He's killing AJ Green.
God damn it. Fuck.
He's chopping his head off.
Jeez.
He's putting it on the wall.
Why you act like AJ Green's a bum? Hey man, just keep going.
You got it?
Of course I got it.
You're going to let him get it?
Apparently, I'm gonna be a hater if I don't give it to him.
Okay. AJ Green moves forward.
No,
Or AJ
no.
Brown moves forward.
Exactly. Don't mess up.
God
Don't mess
damn
up
it.
his name.
AJ Brown moves
Be
forward.
respectful.
Up until he sees Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Guys,
AJ Brown got it.
come on, man.
Damn man, he just give it to AJ Brown every time.
AJ Brown moves forward.
Time out. He's not giving it to him. AJ Brown is taking it. every single
Okay.
time.
Until he sees
Continue.
Michael Thomas.
Somebody hit this guy with a hammer.
Oh my God.
He is beating Slant Boy down. I'm taking AJ Brown.
It is AJ Brown.
Keep going.
He just loves playing this game, bro.
I know.
Keep going.
You named it Eagle. You fucked it up.
AJ Brown keeps going until he sees Mike Evans.
He's better than Mike Evans.
Give it to
Right
AJ
now,
Brown.
Yes.
He's better than Mike Evans. We talked about it last time. Mike Evans, has there ever been a time where he's like, is this the third best receiver in the league?
2016, you could have an argument, but it wasn't set in stone.
Yeah.
I think AJ Brown the past like 2 or 3 seasons has been number 3.
Exactly.
Fuck, man. This is sad. AJ Brown keeps going until he sees Jamar Chase.
Finally, shit! Thank God.
You're dead.
We're ending it here. King of the Hill over. Jamar Chase wins.
You can make the argument. That
You
over,
can't make shit.
over the last 3, you can make the argument. I'm just saying.
I live in today. The best version of Jamar Chase is easily better than AJ Brown. One of the best run after catch receivers of all time.
Well, he
Not
said
too
make
shabby
the-
going vertical.
AJ Brown is not too shabby going vertical.
Yeah, you want to go talk run after catch abilities? Jamar Chase clears.
Get big body.
I can't
All right, get
believe
body.
you said you can make. Wow.
If we go hat on hat, 1-on-1 right now, listen, AJ Brown can.
You're putting your life on the line when it comes to this.
Understand. I trust AJ Brown with my life. With my life.
Okay.
Jamar Chase clears.
Okay.
Clears is disrespectful.
Say a couple more names. I'll get more disrespectful.
Oh, okay. Say less. AJ Brown continues, hypothetically.
Jamar Chase continues.
Ooh, Jamar Chase continues until he sees Deebo Samuels.
Jamar Chase fucking smokes.
Ooh.
Now I'm saying he really obliterates him. That's very disrespectful.
Yeah.
Okay, Jamar Chase moves, smokes him until he sees Andre Johnson. Ooh.
This is one where I think it might be Jamar Chase, but it's like
Yeah.
disrespectful to a legend. Nobody wants to have that conversation because
Mhm.
I don't know. Andre Johnson is so loved. I don't know. What's the answer there?
You know what it is.
I really don't know, actually. I really don't know what the answer is.
I don't want to have to call Jay Prince. I don't want to have to do that.
Who is Jay Prince?
I don't want to have to call JJ Watt.
Why are they?
Oh.
I don't want to have to call the guys.
So we're on Andre Johnson?
I guess so.
Andre Johnson, you win King of the Hill. No more questions asked.
Yeah.
I guess so. That was deflating.
And that's the end. And that's the end of this episode. People are still here. We appreciate you coming on for episode 2 of House Call. Let us know your least favorite moments from that tier list. Let us know what you hate us the most for disrespecting your team's quarterback. Hey, man. We'll see y'all next week.